Okay, we're recording. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Boss Bros. Something a little different, a little more podcast style. Today we're going to be talking the Batman. Roll has his Batman hoodie on.
I had to represent.
He brought some Batman pops, some the Batman figures, and then I just got this little popcorn Batman tin from the movie theater today. You've watched it 3 times?
I watched it 3 times.
I've watched it twice.
I watched it 3 times.
I watched it about...
We got to go together sometime.
Yeah, we will.
We'll go next weekend.
Okay.
Oh, wait. We can't
yeah,
go next weekend.
I'll be out of town.
When you get back from Europe, we'll go.
Okay. Yeah,
We'll go.
I finished the movie about a little over 3 hours ago. So, yeah, let's dig in.
That's today, Sunday.
Today's Sunday,
I haven't
March
watched
6th.
it since Friday.
Yeah, I watched it since Friday, so it's not as fresh.
It's not as fresh, but
It's
I watched
fresh.
it twice on Friday, so...
Yeah, you did. You doubled up.
I
6
doubled up.
hours of your day Friday was spent on the Batman.
6 hours of 24, yes.
So we're going to start with some non-spoiler shit, and then we're going to get into some spoiler-heavy talk, so we'll let the audience know when. You want to summarize the movie? Can you summarize it?
Can I summarize a movie that I hold dear to my heart as possibly one of the best comic book movies of all time? Yes, I can.
Okay,
I
summarize
can
the
summarize
movie.
this movie. The Batman, 2022, Robert Pattinson. Starts off with a 2-year, fresh to the crime-fighting days of Batman. Bruce Wayne, a broken Bruce Wayne that we've probably never seen, or we've seen glimpses of in other movies, but not as much as how we've seen him in this movie. And I gotta be careful because I almost like that. I gotta forget. We're balancing here. This is a balancing act.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I leave off? Bruce Wayne, a broken Bruce Wayne, and a darker, grittier world Gotham that we've ever seen. I feel like in any adaptation.
I do feel like... I felt like this Gotham was definitely... grimy. It felt
like dirty, dingy,
even in the Dark Knight. They filmed it in Chicago, and that
so
felt like Chicago.
But it was clean. I feel
they
like
kind of like rubbed it in your face that it was Chicago.
You know what this movie felt like? It felt like the Joker movie.
Yeah, it kind of did. Yeah,
when Joker was walking down the street and there was just trash everywhere.
Joker felt like one of those old like Ghostbusters type where it just seems like it's fucking dirty alleys.
It's just gross.
Yeah,
it felt like New York City in the 70s.
Yeah,
and not that we were alive at that point, but
we've
seen enough
movies. Yeah,
we've seen enough movies. What else?
We get a Bruce Wayne that's not your typical playboy billionaire. Not yet, at least. He's more of I would say he's even more kind of...
He's just more brooding, just very focused. Because every time I think of Bruce Wayne, I think Bruce Wayne alone has 3 personalities, in my opinion. I think he has 3 personalities, and then his true personality is Batman.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in this movie, we only got one of those 3 personalities from Bruce Wayne and his Batman. So we only got like 2, which in a little bit, I kind of felt like it was lacking. I still love this movie, but I walked out of the movie theater the first time and I was thinking, I just wish we could have seen more like philanthropist Bruce Wayne, more of like playboy millionaire Bruce Wayne. But I mean, for what this movie was and what they were going for, I think they nailed it with just that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice to see more, but I mean, sequels. There you go.
Right.
We can...
Summarizing, so also,
that wasn't even a very good summary.
No,
we ended up going off tangent there, but I'm just that excited to talk about this movie.
So we get kind of broken down, brooding Bruce Wayne, living in Gotham, second year. He's really tight with Lieutenant Gordon already,
but
and
just Gordon, not
the Gotham Police Force. Definitely not. He does not have a lot of friends in there, but he has Gordon. And the movie starts out with a murder
on Halloween.
Yeah. So there's some ties to a comic book there.
Yeah.
We get it's basically Batman having to be the world's greatest detective and figuring I think himself out, figuring relationships out, figuring
his
out
process, he's figuring everything out.
Figuring out what it means to be a Wayne almost, figuring out what the Waynes stand for, what happened to his parents. There's a lot going on, and it all kind of culminates into
a lot of unmasking, a lot of reveals, a lot of things that he didn't know that were new to him.
Yeah.
And that are affecting the way he does what he's doing right now.
All right. So you liked it. What would you rate it, I guess, out of a 10?
I'm biased. My opinion is biased, but I'd say it's a 10 out of 10.
It's a 10
Even
out
with
of
the things
10.
that were lacking in the movie, like the Bruce Wayne, other multi-layered levels of Bruce Wayne that were not in this movie, I still consider this movie 10 out of 10.
I would give it a 9, probably 9.7 out of 10. Give it like an A. I like it's like an A+. I like the grade school system, almost like C's average.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you say something's like a 7 or
Right.
something, I mean, it's obviously it's like a C.
Yeah.
But it's easier
Yeah, so an
to grade it that way. So I would give it an A. It's an A+.
Okay.
It's a 9.7 out of 10. I don't think it's perfect.
Okay.
But
yeah, not a perfect movie. But
it's
still,
it's
it
still
was still really good.
It's right there. Yeah. You think it's? Do you like The Dark Knight that much? I feel like
I do. I do like The Dark Knight.
I feel like it's going to get compared to The Dark Knight. That's its like competition basically with Batman fans probably.
I think this movie did Batman better. I don't think they did Bruce Wayne better. I think they did Gotham better.
Yeah, they definitely did Gotham better.
Their
villains are kind of similar.
Yeah.
In the Riddler and the Joker.
The portrayals of them, yeah.
Yeah, the things they set out to accomplish, I feel are very similar.
Yeah.
That's almost what I felt. I was like, I almost wished they did a little bit different with the Riddler because the Joker had kind of done some of the same stuff. But this is a little bit more pointed. It has a little bit more of the Joker does what he does he doesn't really have a plan. The Riddler definitely had a plan. Yeah, he has the riddles. He has the stuff in it that keeps it on pace. Speaking of that, it's a 3-hour movie. It doesn't feel like it. Not in my opinion.
I didn't think it was. Yeah,
it kind of flies by. The pacing of it, I feel like they transitioned very well, scene to scene. It keeps its pacing.
I think when I went and watched it on Friday, the second time I watched it on Friday, it did feel like a 3-hour movie because I had already spent 3 hours in and then my back was hurting. I was like, man, my back hurts.
I can't imagine watching it twice in one day.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't even. The most challenging part was my weak body, and I just
weak body couldn't.
My soul was all invested, my mind was invested, my body just couldn't handle it. My body was just like, my back.
All right, so our general consensus, we're probably going to cut into spoilers right now.
Spoilers.
But general consensus is go watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Definitely
it's
the Batman. It is a must watch
in theaters.
Must watch in theaters. I agree.
Don't watch it on the big screen. Watch it with surround sound.
Watch it with friends.
Yeah.
There was a group of guys in front of me at the premiere that we went to Tuesday night. And they were kind of like Chads. And it was like fraternity guys or something. And we were kind of sitting there. There is not a post-credit scene, but at the very end of the credits, there's a little glimpse into some stuff. So it's, if you don't want to sit in around it, you can look it up and see what it is.
Are you talking about the very end?
The very end, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It just, there's a message.
Yeah.
But, so, we were sitting there waiting for that, and they brought the lights back on, but the credits are rolling, and I'm, listening to the guy in front of me's conversation, and one of the guys, it was a group of 6 or 7 dudes, one of them gets up and just walks out, and I hear this kind of Asian guy go, "You just made, Michael rage quit in real life." I was sitting there laughing, and he's like, and the other guy, he's like, "Why did he leave?" And he's like, "You told him it was boring or something." He got so mad.
I would have been Michael. If I went with somebody and they told me that, I would have raged quit.
Yeah. He got up and walked out of the theater. I thought that was so funny.
You made him rage quit in real life.
Yeah.
You told him it was boring. That I would have been Michael. I would have rage quit. Somebody told me it was boring. I would have been like, "Fuck you! This movie was awesome. I'm leaving."
All right, spoiler talk. Let's get into this.
If you haven't watched the movie, this is the time. Get out of here.
Yeah, go watch it. Come back to the Boss Bros and listen to our spoiler talk here. let's get into this. You
Hold on, before
some,
we go, should we go from the beginning and through the movie?
I think we can try to keep it on
We can try
track.
to comb through the movie.
Try to comb through it the best we can remember it.
Yeah.
So let's start out with...
Let's talk about the opening scene, because I've been dying to talk about the opening scene with something.
Okay.
Opening scene.
Opening scene.
What's the opening scene?
We start out, it gives us almost like this little, like, almost kind of a Spider-Man 2 opening music, like, da-na-na-na-na, you know?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah. Are you talking about the title card?
The title card comes up in red. It says the Batman.
Like the Joker
and then,
movie.
yes.
In the same font.
And so then it comes up, and you hear Paul Dano as the Riddler breathing, and he's looking through...
POV shot.
His goggles there. Yeah, he's watching a kiddo in a window, dressed up like a little red ninja, almost a Zorro type.
Yeah.
And he's swinging a sword around. But yeah, kind of plays that little like intro music. He watches a father come in and get attacked by the kid. He plays dead. The mom pats the kid on the back, hands him a little candy pail.
It's Halloween.
It's
Halloween.
Yeah, so it's a trick or treat pail he gets. He kind of takes off. The dad stands back up, and then the kid comes back, hugs him, and it almost makes you think that this is a young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
and
there's some parallels there.
It makes you believe that this is Bruce Wayne's origin. Yes. They're about to go to the movie theater, and this guy's almost like watching them and gonna go kill Thomas and Martha. But it cuts. The Riddler looks up to an open on the roof hatch, I guess.
Yeah, like a window.
Like kind of like the window.
Hatch,
yeah, and so that kind of gives us our entry point, and it starts playing. It's a little bit darker outside. The sun is set.
It cuts to the mayor, right?
It cuts to the mayor.
So it turns out the guy that we were watching the whole time was the mayor, right?
Yes, and he's up for re-election, and he's watching himself in his debate, the final debate before the election. This is, I guess, since it is Halloween, it's the first Tuesday of November is the elections normally. So in real life, and so he's watching the final debate. He's going over. He has a guy that calls him and tells him. He's asking. I noticed it more. I caught more because they were talking about the renewal fund in this. In that opening scene, they actually talk about Gotham's sea barriers.
Yeah.
In that opening scene.
Yeah. And they were talking. I think there was some of the teleprompters when they were talking about it was popping up, and they were talking about the sea barriers and how some of them were weak or something like that. I remember seeing it in a video, but yes, you keep going.
So then he's talking on the phone, and he's almost asking the person he's talking to, like, I thought we were going to get more points. It sounds like the election against a girl named Belle Real is...
which I'm not familiar with. I don't know if she's
I don't know
either.
I don't know who she is. But... they're dead. They're in a dead heat. It's almost a coin flip right now, and the mayor's kind of feeling the heat a little bit. He's on the phone. He's like, I can't deal with it. He's got a little finger of scotch or something he's drinking, and
while he's doing all this, he's in his living room, right?
He's in his living room,
and the only thing that's on is his TV and the light shining on him from the TV. And I think there's like a lamp off to the side, but of course the cinematography in this movie was the best cinematography I've ever seen. Through a whole movie.
The movie's beautiful.
Through the whole movie. I've seen
the lighting, there's a bunch of just like beautiful shots, beautiful just like sweeping images. Just, I mean, whenever the Batman originally shows up.
Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But so we're back to the mayor. He's drinking his scotch. The TV's shining on him. It's dark in his room. And what happens next?
Almost like a horror movie. You see the villain behind him, the Riddler, standing behind him. He kind of scoots off to the side. He's pacing. He doesn't like what's going on the television in the debate. And the Riddler's sitting there. And the Riddler, it kind of catches his face and it zooms in. And he's kind of just eyeing the guy walk back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
He's just watching.
was racing when I saw that scene the first time.
It feels really that like is your introduction into this is almost
this is what we're gonna have the rest of the movie.
It sets the tone.
Yeah.
It sets the tone of the movie. It's like borderline a horror flick.
Yeah.
With even the music in it at certain scenes, it gives you that kind of like tense, like shrieking sound telling you, this is a scary scene. Your heart should be racing. So,
no, I think it was quiet when at first, because remember, he was standing there watching the TV and the shot is from the front, right? So you see the mayor's face, you see the mayor looking at the TV, and then I think he cuts it off. And you don't see the Riddler behind him because he's farther back. He
paces with the TV on still. He sets the phone down,
and then
you see the Riddler.
As soon as he walks off, it's still dark there, and you don't see the Riddler there. And then the TV flashes, and then you see the glasses of the Riddler.
Yes.
Dude, I almost shit my pants when I saw that. It got my heart racing. I instantly thought of the Zodiac Killer, which that's what they've been comparing it to this entire time. And oh man, I love that. I love that scene. That's probably top 5 favorite scenes, and I have 5 fucking scenes that
I was surprised going into it. I was surprised they showed the Riddler so early. I was also surprised they showed the Batman in his suit as early as they do. So we get the Riddler taking out the mayor, killing him.
Takes him out
with a almost like a carpet
tucker.
They call it a tucker later in the movie, but it's
the correct term or not.
Yeah, it's you can like tuck the carpet under the floorboard or whatever. And so I don't know. I'm not a carpenter either, but
which is an integral part.
It turns out
the very end of the movie.
Yes. So
crazy.
it comes back. It does come full circle. This movie is paced very well. It's
that's crazy.
Driven story wise very well because the renewal fund comes back up, the seawall comes back up.
Yeah.
Later on in the movie, but we get the mayor's death.
Kills him. The screech that the Riddler let out when he took him out, that was crazy. That's
he starts. It's like almost like in football. Whenever you hear like the opening kickoff, but you hear guys screaming when they're about to hit somebody.
Yeah,
it's almost that like he amped himself up that much to take this guy out to hit him as hard as he did in the back of the head. So
takes him out.
It kind of leaves off of that. We get a very wet Gotham City. I think in almost every scene of Gotham City, it's raining.
Yeah, I think any exterior shot. I saw somebody talking about Matt Reeves was saying that he wanted to make it feel like the movie Seven, David Fincher 7, and every exterior scene in that movie in 7, it's always raining.
Oh, really?
And it's like just depressing, glooming, and he did the exact same thing there.
Yeah,
so it landed.
Very wet Gotham City. We get our dark and brooding Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne walking through the streets.
He has a little overture. He's talking almost like omnipotence.
Narrator.
Yeah, narrator style. He's talking while you see just kind of the scum of Gotham come out Halloween night. Guy with the little
rioting, looting.
People are spray painting.
Yeah, robbing.
They rob a little convenience store. Guy with like
that was a cool design.
They're like pumpkin mask thing.
Yeah,
or
the drop head.
Drop head. Okay. Yeah. Which is a thing I've never heard of the drops. I think
it was just a way of getting around saying like fucking heroin or crack or anything.
The drugs in this movie are called drops.
Yeah.
And we learned that there's been a big drop bust, but that's later on.
Yeah.
So we get a Bruce Wayne Batman talking about how being in a second year, the villains, the kind of crime and scum of Gotham are afraid of him, and you see that whenever they see the bat signal, they think he's going to come out of the shadows.
He states saying that the city's too big. He's in his second year. He's learning how to do this shit, and he said it himself. He can't be everywhere. He can't be everywhere, and I think that's where it ties back to Gordon, and Gordon running that bat signal and projecting it up into the sky as one of the mottos of the movie was it's not just it's not just a signal, but it's a warning. And we saw that in that opening scene with all that looting, and then that guy robbing the gas station, and then of course the train station scene, which we'll get into here in a second. But they're in the middle of committing these crimes, and they look up into the sky and see that signal.
There's a police helicopter going around, and it shines a light on them.
Yeah, to get their attention.
To show them the bat signal. He's out there.
He's out there right now. And the guys looting, and then the guy that robbed it, they see it, and then they just look to the nearest shadow, and as if the boogeyman was there, oh, Batman is probably in that shadow. He's gonna come out and kick my ass or whatever, So, oh man, they nailed fear.
Yeah, they did. They did. So then we get the train sequence.
The train sequence, which was in the first trailer, and I hate
it was the best. It was the best part of the first trailer because it showed us
how brutal.
It showed us, and it made me think that he was going to be a lot rougher, which he ended up not being quite as rough as I thought he would be.
Yeah,
that's really the only and the end of the movie is where he gets kind of a little off the hook on just beating the shit out of people. But we get some. They almost look like Joker figures, which
like a Joker gang.
Almost like a Joker gang.
It reminds me of
gang.
Batman Beyond. Where I guess the first episode of Batman Beyond, but there's a Joker gang because the Joker's not around anymore until that one spin-off movie or whatever. But it's like a Joker gang, just like that. And I think I noticed one of the not that I specifically found it, but I've heard other people point it out that some of the makeup is reminiscent of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. It's kind of like a little Easter egg that he has the same face paint, but obviously just in black and white.
Yeah, so they look a little bit. They're less. Yeah, they only did black and white, so they're less Joker, more almost like skull, sugar skull kind of.
Yeah,
almost. But that leads me into maybe. Let's just spoil. This is a big spoiler. The Joker's in this movie.
Yeah,
and
that's one of the things
So that's what we'll talk about it when we get to it. But he's in Arkham. Could Batman have fought Joker and him have a little bit of followers? This version of Joker.
Well,
could those have been Joker boys?
We'll get into that when we get to it.
Okay.
Because I just recently discovered some new information.
I discovered some new information too. Look at that. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the injection that he pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
I wasn't even, whenever he first pulled it out, I did not know.
I felt like I've talked to you about this already. Did I have that? Okay. Never mind.
But
it must have been
we'll get to it at the end.
Yeah.
He had to have fought him, though.
Yeah.
But
people are saying stupid shit about... Okay, people don't know what we're talking about because you and me have this, telepathic conversation going on.
Okay,
so the Joker gang... It was one of the...
They chase a man out of the train.
Yeah.
They're more like a gang that films them knocking people out and get all pumped up about it. So they almost have a little initiation going on with the guy. He only has his face half painted
because he's not in.
So he's not in yet, and he's feeling a little nervous, a little timid about doing this. And he sees the bat signal in the sky.
Real quick, that kid that has his face painted, I think he plays Tim Drake in a DC, Titan show, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so.
He looks like he could be a Tim Drake.
Yeah.
I honestly thought of him being like a Tim Drake.
So that was pretty cool. I don't think they're
taking him in.
I don't think they're gonna tie that together because I think they're doing there. But that was an interesting little factoid.
So
right, sorry, keep going.
They're trying to get him to knock this old guy out. And you just hear these boots clacking out of the shadows.
Oh, is it Batman or is it Michael Myers coming out of the fucking shadows, dude? That's okay.
It ties into the horror element a little bit again. The fear inducing. He's just walking. He just walks.
And he just has somber, just
stoic.
Yeah.
Just walk out and. One of the guys, this is in the trailer, asked him who he's supposed to be. Batman grabs his arm.
And it's in the first trailer, grabs his fucking arm.
Grabs his arm, elbows him in the head, starts just punching him, and then says, "I'm vengeance." Then we get into a little fight scene where Batman hasn't mastered the Arkham fighting style yet.
With him saying that, did you notice the rest of the movie, they just called him Vengeance?
Yeah, they did just call him Vengeance.
Because of that, I feel like. Because...
I think he's been going around calling himself Vengeance, and that's his name. They're also calling him Batman, obviously.
Nobody called him Batman until he called himself Batman.
Really?
Nobody called him Batman until he was saying, I think this might be the end, because he thought this is spoilers for our future conversation.
Riddler calls him the Batman. The very first note.
Yeah, he writes it.
Yeah,
he never calls him Batman. Yeah.
So
and of course there's newspaper, but it seems like everybody else, like Penguin and everybody else, called him Vengeance. Catwoman called him Vengeance a lot, and we'll get to it. But I felt like, I don't know.
So there's an overarching story element there with him calling himself Vengeance.
That ties to the
that comes back to the end. So he calls himself Vengeance. He gets hit a little bit.
Yeah, very uncoordinated. Not, you know.
Yeah, he hasn't mastered.
He's new.
He didn't hit the counter button quite quickly enough.
There was no counter button.
He got popped a couple times. Then one of the Joker boys pulls out a gun, which half-faced Joker tries to stop him. Batman turns. Bruce has got to learn too. He just kind of takes those shots. He's just like he welcomes getting shot in the chest.
He's like, my body's young right now. I'll take him right now.
Yeah. So he trusts his armor a little bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't really try to stop. He just kind of stands there, takes a couple shots, and then he jumps in on him, and he has a taser in his glove.
That's something we didn't see a lot. Talking about tasers, we didn't see a lot of gadgets. We saw like a glimpse here and there, like the eye thing. He used that a lot.
That thing was sick. That was probably my favorite thing that he had.
The taser on his finger thing, that he used that for that one scene. We didn't even see him throw a batarang in this movie.
No, he only used the
tape open.
He cut the tape open and he did something else with it.
Yeah, he did. Okay, my forgive me, I forgot about that. But what else? And that's it. Oh, and he had that rappel thing when he rappelled off the building, and that was like the only gadgets we saw in this movie. So they lacked in gadgets.
He had the wingsuit. He hasn't. I feel like his arsenal's not there yet. He doesn't have a Lucius yet. He really has.
He does not.
He has Alfred, and Alfred, he doesn't seem very willing to let Alfred in on a lot of what's going on. Alfred
doesn't really want to be a part of it either. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, well, he once he starts doing the riddles, Alfred kind of. I think Alfred opens up as well. So
right. So where do we leave off? He fights the guys. He's taking some shots.
The old man
he defeats the enemies.
Yeah, they all kind of take off after the one guy gets tased. They all get kind of scared.
And then he goes to the crime scene.
Yeah, so then he looks up and he sees the bat signal in the sky, and then we get Nirvana playing.
Not yet.
I thought we get
not yet.
Okay.
Not until he looks at the kid and he's watching the kid.
Okay, that's the end. Okay.
But I mean, yes, that's from the trailer. Yeah, Nirvana starts playing in the trailer.
Then we catch him. He's following. We see Lieutenant Gordon walking, and we see Batman following him down this just tight apartment hallway
it's
hallway.
Just so crowded, man.
Crowded.
You can just feel the tension. You can feel the tension in that scene.
The officers' hats and like leather jackets, like that feeling of like almost like a 70s style cop.
I like the aesthetics of this movie and then the modern take that like iPhones and like
that it feels like it's set in 1970,
80, whatever.
Yeah. Late 70s, early 80s, but they have modern technology, but they don't depend on it as much. So it doesn't feel like as used. Like not everybody's on their phone, not everybody's. So it kind of, that's always the thing with like spy movies and stuff or whatever. Somebody can just get on their GPS and look somewhere, or somebody can just get on their cell phone and look it up. So usually they set stuff back in the day before cell phones, so they can do things, cool things. They have to figure out another way to get around stuff. But this, I feel like, used.
It was more practical. It was more of like, let me figure this shit out instead of just typing it in or doing something. It was super high tech.
It was really cool. It's good. It's just it's such a great aesthetic. The aesthetic of this movie is so fucking good.
It's so good. So continue. He's walking down this hallway, tight corridor, cops on both sides, and what are these cops doing? They're looking right at him like what? Like we don't trust this fucking guy.
We catch a lot of the camera panning. It happens a bunch of people just kind of like looking at him, just like
who don't trust him.
Almost like a mutant or a freak, an outsider. Just like he walks by him, and we get a lot of the camera just kind of.
There's a lot of distrust.
A lot of staring at him. We get into an active crime scene.
The mayor's crime, where
Officer Ramirez stops him.
Yeah.
Tells Gordon he's not going to let him in. Gordon says he's with him.
Vouches for him, let him in.
Yeah. He walks in, immediately goes over. We see the mayor with duct tape on his face. His face says, "No more lies."
Mm-hmm. Which is obviously...
There's a bag around his hand.
Mm-hmm. Implying to what's to come.
Yes.
The whole freaking narrative about this movie.
And then duct tape to his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Or does...
I think it's his chest, yeah, to the Batman.
Yeah, a letter that says, "To the Batman." And Gordon makes a message, something like, "Geez, did all this blood come from his head?" And he's like, "Almost all, but some came from this." Oh, it takes a bag off of his hand. He's missing his thumb. And then we get a little bit of Batman being a detective, knowing his shit. Yeah. Where he says he cut it off. He was still alive when the thumb was taken.
Yeah.
And so...
And gave some knowledge inside of, like,
some medical terminology about...
what happens to your blood.
The oxygen meeting the blood when you're dead and alive. Blah, blah, blah.
Just showing that he knows some shit. He knows
Batman. Batman's done this before.
And and he's still early in his career, and he's got things off the top of his head like, no, this is not right. Mm-hmm. But
then we get a riddle. What does a liar do when he's dead?
Yeah. And who hasn't a clue? Let's play a game, just me and you. Which I want that as a Halloween card from somebody. Yeah. Somebody send me that.
Somebody send Roll. I'll put his address in there.
And what was the Riddler saying? He said,
"What does a liar do when he's dead?"
Yeah, what does a liar do when he's dead? And
Gordon and the little picture taker were kind of going over it. He also shows the letter. It says, "To the Batman," and he kind of continues with the riddle. He's like, "Does this mean anything to you?" Yeah. Which I was like, reading that, I was like,
it all flows.
Would he just
really
do
good.
That? Yeah. Would he just say that like that, or did the Riddler write it? And the Riddler did not write it, so Gordon kind of played into it.
Played it really good. It flowed.
Yeah.
Like, let's play a game, just me and you. Or who hasn't a clue? Let's play a game, just me and you. Does this mean anything to you?
Yeah.
He pretty much repeated the word "you." But anyway, so Batman's looking around the crime scene while they're looking at this riddle real quick.
And
he's like dead staring at everything. And I was thinking, like, this is like he's really analyzing anything. This is before we knew.
Yeah, why he looks at everything as long as he does and everything. So, Batman solves the riddle, tells him he lies still. There's a cipher, and there's also a cipher sheet left there. Also,
very reminiscent of the Zodiac Killer.
Yes. We also see some like blood on the ground and a little kind of indent from the murder weapon, but the murder weapon's not there. Mm-hmm. And then the police chief, the commissioner, comes in and tells he used to be former partners with Gordon, which in the comic, I can't remember his name right now.
Loeb. But I don't think it's Loeb in this movie.
No.
It's Commissioner Loeb, and he's corrupt in the comics, but I don't think this guy's Commissioner Loeb.
But they play kind of the same character. It's kind of maybe a different name. I can't remember his name.
It's the same character.
Yeah, right. So they're partners. They're partners coming up through the force, and now he's the commissioner. He's still really tight with Gordon, and he tells Batman to get the fuck out. But
seems a little sus.
Yeah,
seems a little sus.
He tells Batman to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's not welcome there, basically. He's a vigilante. He could have a part to do with it. Gordon kind of hinted there's a letter named to the Batman, shows it to him, and he's like, now
he's involved.
Yeah.
He's involved.
Yeah, so he's like, get him off the crime scene. Mm-hmm. Gordon's like, hey, man, you got to go. Batman notices a bloody footprint about the size of a child's footprint. And we see
Gordon's like, the kid found him.
Yeah.
Maybe not Gordon, but somebody was like, the kid found him.
Yeah. They're like, kid came home. He was the one that found the dad.
Where the fuck is the mom?
I don't know. The mom's
Where's the mom? The mom's a suspect. She's nowhere to be seen. And the kid found him. The mom's a suspect.
I mean, whenever there's a murder of a spouse, the other spouse is always the first suspect.
And we have some speculation once we watch further into the movie on why the wife could have been the murderer. Mm-hmm. I mean, you never know. She's a suspect, man. They countered it out. I don't like how they dismissed that. You know what? I'm knocking my movie down from a 10 to a 9 for that.
10-9, yeah. It's coming off.
It's coming off. You know what, Mary Reeves? Here you go.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
So we then go from the kid. He stares at the kid.
Boom! Nirvana starts playing.
Nirvana starts playing. He goes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, he goes into the Batcave. We see the Batcave for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred's coming down. Bruce is still. I think
he's narrating at this point.
He has the little narrating talk. He's saying how he doesn't know if he's making a difference in the city.
Mm-hmm.
What he's doing. And he's taking. It shows it's close up of his eye. He rips out this contact, but it's not like a normal contact. He puts it in. It goes into the computer, and basically it's like he recorded the whole night. Yeah. And we also see that he has journals.
Oh man, I love that. I love that.
He's calling it the Gotham Project.
The Gotham Project
Year 2, and he's writing down. It's October 31st, and he's writing down basically everything he's narrating. And which
he was saying that he couldn't remember because he was saying nights just all blend together, and that's why he recorded all. And I love the mixture of just practical things and then like this high tech shit, and then just again he has it recording. Why does he have to write it down here? But I just love that aspect that he's taking notes.
He's journaling.
Yeah,
he has it recorded, but sometimes journaling's good.
It helps. Sticks up here, man.
Yeah, so journaling helps for sure. But
it was cool.
If Wayne Manor ever gets fucking searched, he's done for.
Yeah, he's got physical. He's got too much.
He's got so much, and
things.
Later in the movie, he literally spray paints his floor with shit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He does. He's literally got shit going on. Oh, he literally puts the Riddler logo on his floor.
Yeah,
people are gonna be like, "What
this
the fuck
man's the Riddler? Yeah, this guy's the fucking Riddler."
Something's going on with Bruce Wayne. He's tied to this.
So then we have the entrance of Andy Serkis
as Alfred Pennyworth.
Oh man, I liked him. I
do too. Michael Caine is still my favorite Alfred, but this version. There's some room to grow.
We didn't even see that much. He was barely in it, and I fell in love with that character. I was
because they do only show him a certain amount. He only gets, probably maybe 10 minutes of screen time in this movie. 15 minutes of screen time. But
I feel
his and Bruce Wayne's relationship has a whole arc in the movie
within those few scenes that they had.
Yeah, so we get we still get obviously brooding, kind of darker Bruce Wayne, still hurting, still trying to do what he thinks is right. He's not really letting Alfred in. Alfred's not really making the attempt, but he's kind of telling him, you're Wayne.
Yeah, let's focus on. Let's do what
he's telling him. He tells him that the accounting people are coming over, I think in a later scene.
Yeah.
But even in that scene, Bruce Wayne's like, why would you bring him over here? And he's like, listen, they've got questions. You're buying shit.
Yeah.
He's like, sooner or later you're going to run out. This is your family's legacy here. And he kind of gives him the you're not a Wayne,
Gives him a lecture.
He's like, and tells him, he's like, you're not my dad. And
that Alfred, was tough.
Yeah, Alfred had to be like,
tough.
I'm very well aware I'm not your father.
When he said that, it's like, wait, he is your dad, man, because he's been raising you since you were a little boy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So
that was when he said that, I was like, oh.
So we definitely start off with a broken Bruce and Alfred relationship.
Yeah.
It's strictly a business only relationship.
And in the comics, if you think about it, Bruce was always gone from somewhere, and he came back after so many years, and he's finally back as this young adult or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sometimes Alfred raises him, sometimes it seems like he doesn't, but...
It sounds like, I think in this one, and usually the Bruce Wayne story we get is basically he died, the parents get killed, he's an orphan when he's in single digits.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 10.
Then he goes to boarding school or some shit like that.
Yeah, Alfred raises him through that when he sends him to school, and then he goes out wherever and trains, and then he comes back later.
Yeah.
And then so Alfred raises him. Alfred's still the father. He still had him for how many ever years it took from him to be
where he
an
is
orphan
now
to training, and then him coming back.
That's true.
So
now we go upstairs, he takes a shower. We do realize that Alfred notices some of the work that he's recently working on about the Riddler, and he's asking, why is he writing to you? The Batman is starting to become more famous now.
Mm-hmm. Alfred has a little bit of questions about what's going on, because he doesn't like this. He can see in the contacts, the videos that Bruce Wayne has recorded. He could see the mayor had passed. He could see his dead body. He saw everything. Basically, he's like, "Oh shit, you're kind of, you're in it now." And
we also see that he noticed why Bruce was in the mood that he was in that moment, because then it shows in the contact footage of the kid,
and him watching the kid,
reminiscent of what he went through. And so he's a little bit more understanding. He notices what Bruce is working on, picks the Riddler cipher up, and starts. I think Bruce had already written.
He had wrote almost in like a white highlighter pen.
Yeah.
He lies still.
Yeah.
Over the cipher, and then Alfred comes up. He's working on the cipher sheet with the key that Bruce Wayne had figured out.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, where'd you get O's from? They're not, because he lies still only gives you HESTINL.
Yeah.
And so he's like, where'd you get the O's from? He's like, double letters, blah, blah, blah. And before the accountants, they don't really talk to anybody. The scene kind of cuts. They're back in the Batcave computer, and they're doing the cipher, because Bruce comes up. He's like, well, maybe the key, it's not a partial key. Maybe it is the key. He's like, what if you only put those letters? And so they run it on the computer, and he starts knocking out all the other things
they don't have,
and it comes up, and it says drive.
Yeah, spelled in the letters, in the cipher letters.
In the cipher letters. So then we cut. Bruce is in the Batman costume, and he's got Lieutenant Gordon.
Dude, how about we had just so much Batman in this movie doing everything,
doing everything.
Sweet.
No,
and that's that goes to show that that's who Bruce really is. Batman is the true identity. Bruce Wayne is the mask.
But I feel like with Bruce Wayne's arc in this movie, he learns that even starting at the Iceberg Lounge, he learns that maybe I can use Bruce Wayne to get to places Batman can't.
Of course, yeah.
And so he has that learning. Maybe I can use my brain and my money and my kind of,
And I feel like that's hinting more.
I think
that's hinting more for like a sequel.
Future, future stuff. But he learns, because when he first shows up there, he learns that not every answer is solved with just his fist.
Yeah, correct.
And so we get him showing up to the mayor's garage. The mayor has like 10 cars, all these nice ass cars. It almost looks like
a fucking million.
It
looked like Jay Leno.
It looked
like he had Jay Leno's garage in his fucking.
It looked
garage.
like 2008's Iron Man.
Yeah,
like his garage going on in there. So Gordon kind of comments on it. Also, Jeffrey Wright's Gordon, I think he might be my favorite.
I don't know.
I really like Gary Oldman's.
Gary Oldman was really good, but it was good. I think those two are just
like their relationship is. I think this is the best Batman Gordon relationship we get.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
because I agree.
They're talking. Gordon makes the comment,
like, "Are we in the right place? Like, what do you know?"
Yeah, Gordon makes the comment.
Anything. Drive can mean anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman's like, "You don't trust me," and Gordon makes a comment. He's like, "Well, obviously you don't trust me. I don't know who you are, and it's been 2 years."
2 years. So.
And so Batman starts scanning shit. He finds like this Mustang. He's like, "It's this car."
Yeah.
And so they pop it.
It looked like an Audi. It looked like a very fancy car.
A silver, kind of grayish car. So,
but why does he notice it? He notices it because the tire, right? There was something in the tire.
So there was like almost like scissors.
It looked
in
like
the tire.
like trimmers, like hedge trimmers.
Like a hedge. Yeah. So those are caught in the tire. He pulls that out.
They're all bloody.
Yeah, they're bloody. Which does that reference or tie into anything? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I can't. It might, but I don't know.
I've forgotten by this point.
Yeah.
So he goes into
terrible Batman fan. I'm a terrible Batman fan.
Yeah. he goes into the car. He's like, Gordon's like, "What are we looking for?" He's like, "A USB." And he's like, "Why a USB?" So he opens it up and he pulls it out.
He like looks at it, and then he looks at Gordon and he's like grabs it and pulls the USB out, and then he holds it, and it's just like the mayor's thumb, fucking hanging off the thing, and it was like thumb drive, like
Yeah.
the thumb drive.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the comedic aspects they put in this movie.
Mhm.
It was cool. Like that wasn't like a laugh out loud moment, but it was like, oh, that's nice, that's
You
clever.
can take it off. It's hot in here.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Oh no,
boss.
I was just because I noticed I had some
Oh, okay.
little fuzzies on me.
So.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. I don't want you sweating out on me.
No,
Just passing
I'm
out.
losing weight over here.
Okay. It's a
But-
sweat lodge up in here.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was cool though. I like a lot.
There's like there's some horror elements. There's also some like small. There was a lot more comedic.
It was a lot more than I expected.
Just-
I enjoyed it. I was like, ooh,
Oh,
that was refreshing.
It does. Yeah. Take some tension off of it.
Yeah.
So, Gordon plugs a drive into his computer. Him and Batman are looking at it. It has like an encryption lock on it. Batman gives him the thumbprint to use.
And there was another comedic moment, like, oh my god, this guy's fucking.
Yeah,
what
he's
did
like,
he say?
this guy's hilarious
Yeah,
or
this guy's
something.
hilarious.
Yeah, so
like try this, and it's a
Mhm.
fucking thumb.
yeah, so
God damn it.
some pictures of the mayor and like another woman
Yeah.
come up.
Like an escort type, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And he's coming out of the Iceberg Lounge,
Mhm.
which in the comics famously is where the Penguin hangs out,
Dude,
where a bunch of people hang out, a bunch of supervillains.
That was so cool that they
Yeah.
had that Iceberg Lounge in
Yeah.
this movie. Like, just the first reveal of when he actually goes to it, but continue
Mhm.
on this scene.
So they're talking. He's like, "This is the Iceberg Lounge," and then he kind of zooms in. He's like, "Oh, that's the
It's
Penguin
the Penguin. He's walking.
coming in. He's in the pictures with the mayor." So he's like,
Let
and
me go talk to his ass.
yeah, Gordon's like, "That's Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah.
You know, we can't get in there without a warrant."
Mm-hmm.
Also, in this scene, all the emails all the
Yeah.
photos get emailed to
They
the,
get
like
leaked,
Gotham, every news outlet. So now all the Gotham news know that the mayor was having an affair. Some dirty laundry gets aired.
And it brings us back to the thing I was talking about earlier. Oh, everybody in Gotham's thinking his wife killed him.
Yeah,
His wife killed him.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Nobody ever mentioned that again. That was,
yeah.
I'm
Honestly, I didn't put two and two together either.
that could have been. She could have been a major suspect.
Yeah, because
Batman
even
could have been like, oh man, let me go talk to his wife. Oh, the
Yeah.
wife's nowhere to be found.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, speaking of,
We didn't even see her at the funeral unless we saw
Yes,
her
we
from
did.
like the back. or
We
whatever.
did see her at the funeral because she grabs the son after the car comes through. But later,
Terrible mother.
we'll talk about it. So then we cut and
We're at the Iceberg Lounge.
we're
Dude,
at the Iceberg
the
Lounge.
scene of when they just show just the fucking overpass with the train going over the top and it's fucking raining and it's just in
It's
like
just a fucking.
thin letters, like those letters on Gears of War right there, and it's
Mhm.
just fucking Iceberg Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was so cool. That
And-
reminded me of like Arkham Knight when you
Just
go
a-
to that area.
Mm-hmm. Just a red door like going into God knows what.
Yeah.
And so Batman
No
bangs
windows,
on it.
nothing. Yeah.
Batman bangs on the door. The guy comes out. What do you want? He's like, you know who I am? He's like, oh yeah. He shuts the door on him. And then he brings out like a twin brother.
Twiddledee and Tweedledum, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh,
And-
that was awesome. When I saw that, I was like, whoa!
They come out
That was
and
cool.
they tell him to get out of here. The suit's gonna
minor
get filled.
villains, super minor villains, but
He
that's
tells
cool.
him his suit's gonna get full of blood, and
Yeah.
Batman answers, "Mine are yours." And then
Yeah.
he goes
boom,
into
boom, just fucking pops both
beating
of
the
them.
shit. He like knocks him. Yeah, one hit.
Pops them, just boom, boom.
One hits both of them, and then just walks in.
He just walks in.
And he just starts kind of strolling into the lounge. People are kind of turning, looking at him.
It's dark,
and then
in
you
there,
hear-
music's fucking loud.
You hear them chasing him.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden comes around. He starts like getting into a fist fight with a bunch of guards.
This goes back to show that Batman was just trying to solve everything with his fist. Because
Yes,
he walked
yeah.
in, what did he think he was gonna fucking do? He's going into a nightclub full of people. He's just gonna walk in there and like, hey, where the fuck?
Exactly,
Which was
so-
happened, but it seemed kind of impractical, right?
Yeah, so
It's even practical.
yeah, I think he learns on his experience.
Yeah.
So he walks in, he has no idea. He's never been in this place. He has no idea what the layout looks like. He's going in, he's looking for the Penguin.
Bodyguards start coming after him.
He kind of gets his ass whipped a little bit. He starts
Yeah.
getting he kind of gets popped a couple times. He ends up like recovering. He hops over a bar down onto like a catwalk
But
area,
it's
stairs
Batman,
down.
so he came back.
Yeah,
He came-
well, yeah, he grapple hooks a guy through his leg.
Oh, Ben
Yeah.
Affleck style,
But
a la Ben Affleck.
but people start shooting at him,
and he takes a shot. I
think he kind of realizes
that's where we meet Officer McKenzie too.
Yeah, so we get Officer McKenzie,
which we didn't know at the time.
He grabs his shotgun or
he had the baseball bat.
Okay, he had a baseball bat, and he fucking Kinsey shot at him, and he threw the bat and hit him right in the head. And then it's about to go down even more. There's more guns coming, more guards, and then all of a sudden, kind of a hand on the shoulder. Batman looks up. It's Colin Farrell's Penguin, which he looks nothing like him.
Dude, nothing. His performance was so good.
He plays him so well.
Dude, I was thinking that. I was like, how the fuck did the Penguin just like appear behind him? But when I watched it, the next 2 times I watched it, you can see him waddling down the steps, like coming up behind him. Because I was thinking, like, this motherfucker just appeared from nowhere.
Yeah, well, and
he really does. They show
obviously
him like
it's Penguin's club, so Penguin doesn't want to be having people shot at the club. It's bad for business. He doesn't want Batman in there.
So ultimately, Batman got what he wanted.
Yeah, so he got to meet with the Penguin. This is where we get the introduction of Selena Kyle as one of the...
She's playing as a waitress,
She's a cocktail waitress. She's also delivering some drugs. So then we learn that the Penguin's kind of got a
supply chain going.
A supply chain. He's got his own what they call drops. These drugs. He's got a drug business going on. Batman's not interested in that, though. Batman wants to solve these murders. There's some shit going down. The mayor's dead. Right. So he's that's kind of like a minor on his
something he'll come back to, but who knows.
But he starts
something we see in the HBO show though.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll talk about the spinoffs and stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
later. So then we start noticing kind of Catwoman, Selena Kyle, and Batman start noticing each other. He's asking Penguin questions, but he's paying more attention to Selena Kyle. Selena Kyle looks. She sees a picture of who we later learn is her friend, another cocktail waitress that works at the Iceberg Lounge.
Right.
And Batman kind of puts two and two together that they know each other. She knows. So whenever Penguin doesn't give him any answers, he kind of fakes being tough. He's like, well, who is she? I want to know. Yeah. He almost plays appearances a little bit with him, but doesn't rough him up.
He put him in the window.
He put him in the window, but he doesn't. He could have popped him a couple. He could have done anything he wanted.
I think he noticed. Well, once he noticed that Selena Kyle's boots, because she wore these leather boots that
matched. Yeah, that's basically the cocktail waitress attire at the Iceberg Lounge.
And Batman noticed her boots when she first walked into the scene, and then the exchange between Catwoman and Penguin, whatever. Then Batman's like, I want to know about these pictures. Penguin's like, whatever, I don't know anything. Puts him in the fucking window. Then Batman notices, wait, Selena Kyle's boots, or that waitress's boots, are in here. And he turns around and she's watching this this altercation go.
She's paying attention
and
to Batman.
And she leaves as soon as Batman notices her. Mm-hmm. So then Batman...
She takes off. So then Batman...
as Bruce Wayne.
So he gets back into his Bruce Wayne attire.
Dude, it makes more sense now why those figures were so bulky. He's wearing his batsuit underneath all his jacket and stuff, and the only thing he's taking off is his cowl. That's insane. And I was like, why is he so fat? And these the action figures and it's like, he looks so chunky, but he's wearing his batsuit underneath. So
he doesn't take the suit off.
He just takes and that's what explains his makeup and
pulling the Spider-Man. So he keeps the black eyeliner on and everything, or the whatever black eye makeup.
Okay. And so he follows Selena Kyle to her apartment.
Almost it's pretty stalkery, and then it reminds you. It ties in. It goes into a scene that is super reminiscent of the opening scene, where you hear kind of breathing. We get binoculars, and we watch this apartment that Selena Kyle is going into. And then the camera kind of turns, and we see it's Bruce Wayne dressed up in a little he's got half his face covered. He's only showing his eyes. He's got the cap on, and he's kind of watching her. It's a little stalker-esque, a little creepy, because he watches her get changed into her Catwoman
Yeah,
attire.
not only once I felt like once Bruce saw her, he already liked her a lot. You know, like just physically attracted to her, and it's like, all right, and she knows information. Of course, I'm gonna follow her. You know, I need to get down to this, and I'm solving a case, and who knows?
So we get into the little more creepy stalker Bruce Wayne, dark Bruce Wayne here,
and we find out that at Selena Kyle's apartment
is
the mayor cock. The mayor cock.
the mayor's cock is is in the apartment.
The Riddler cut the mayor's cock off and
Selena
put it
Kyle's
into
a part of this. So
the mayor's cocktail waitress he was with in those pictures is at the apartment.
Yeah. So he follows Selena Kyle. Selena Kyle goes to the mayor's crime scene.
Let's not gloss over the fact on Selena Kyle's transition into like full Catwoman mode. She puts on her leather suit, and I love the subtle cue tone of the music when she steps out of the window in her full attire, and it's just like this harp type feline tone. Oh, I loved it, and it reminded me so much of like the animated series. And she just like gently goes down. Yeah, she's gracefully, like cat-like.
Yeah, very not rough, not loud, doesn't make a sound. And very, very Catwoman-esque.
Down like the fire escape. And it was so, I love that part. That was
hops onto her motorcycle and she's off, and Bruce hops on his motorcycle and is following her.
As the drifter again. His drifter,
also,
right?
Drifter attire. So
drifter attire.
We then go back to the crime scene, and Selena Kyle on a little rope comes down.
Just like,
drops it. Same way Riddler got in.
Yeah.
And gets in, finds like a safe under a picture frame. She starts cracking the safe, and then as Batman does, he just kind of appears behind her, and he's like, "You're pretty good at that."
She took so much time into cracking that, or not that she took so much time because she's a master thief. But
she rolls out the tools. Yeah. She's got everything. She has the flashlight. She's got the. Yeah, she's got the hearing device, everything going on.
As soon as she gets to what she came for, fucking Batman just repels, and you can see that he's retracting his grapple hook already, and just takes whatever, and they get into the little art.
It's all Batman makes no. I got this on the second time, but he makes no offensive move. So basically, she kicks him. He blocks every kick. She like kind of does like a little leg sweep. Just kind of lifts his leg up.
Yeah.
And then she runs on a wall and tries to jump on him, and he ends up just like using her body weight against her and put her on a table.
Like, pins her down.
Very
sexual.
Yeah, it is. There's a little bit of
sexual tension there.
A little bit of tension. Yeah. Their faces are pretty close, and then Batman looks up and sees that she has a passport in her hand, grabs it, kind of swiftly gets away from her, and then almost kind of, he's like, implicates her, like, all right, is that why you murdered this guy?
Yeah, so it's
to get your girl out of town?
Yeah.
And at that very moment before Catwoman can answer, they hear kind of a thump.
So the passport's the cocktail waitress that the mayor was with, and so Batman's assuming that Catwoman killed the mayor because the mayor had dirt on the cocktail waitress. And so then what did they heard they heard somebody coming up.
Yeah, they heard the door open, so it's Officer Ramirez, right?
Yeah.
He comes in, he's kind of
Dude,
the guard
that guy was
on the
so shit. I felt like he was the rat, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought he was the rat.
Yeah.
Because when we get to the second murder,
we get Ramirez being like the dirty cop.
Yeah, in comics and
in the comics
the
and
Nolan movie.
The Dark Knight. Yeah. It's a woman in that.
Yeah.
But this one we get the male version of Officer Ramirez, but.
So he comes. What's Ramirez doing here? What's Ramirez doing here, right? But
so it seems like something weird, something fishy. But he's just the guard on watch at a crime scene, active crime scene. So he just comes in, looks around. They're kind of hiding in a corner, around a corner.
A little bit of more sexual tension.
Yeah,
but
he's
like
got
romantic
her. Yeah, he's got her pinned up against him, hand over the mouth, and she just kind of like
embraces it almost.
Yeah. She kind of once the cop leaves.
Yeah.
She quickly turns around. She's like, "I didn't murder this guy." She's like, "I'm not I'm not like that. I'm just trying. She's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to get her out of town. I need her passport though. This asshole took it as like compensation for the dirt or whatever. And
Batman's like, okay.
Yeah, Batman believes her.
Let's go talk to her though.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, let's go back to your apartment. And they roll back to the apartment. There's like 10 cats in the apartment.
There's like 1,000 cats.
Yeah,
it's fucking
but the doors had been busted open.
Yeah,
and no sign of the Russian girl.
No.
And
panics.
Catwoman freaks out. Her phone's gone. She mentions that the phone is missing, which I didn't catch the first time. I didn't either. I caught this one. So yeah, she does mention, she's like, they took my phone. Which comes back
later we hear that recording.
Yes. Yeah. So they're talking. Then he asks, like, "Is that why are you at the like cocktail? Why are you working as a cocktail waitress?" Blah blah. He gets some information out of Selena Kyle willingly, but she starts mentioning about 44 Below. Which he's
that's
like,
cool. That's such a cool concept. I don't know if it's in the comics or not, but that was a cool like 44.
I feel like I've heard of that before.
I don't know. I've never
never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I thought it was a cool concept. As soon as I heard it, as soon as she said 44 Below, I was like, oh, that's a club inside the club because it's the Iceberg Lounge.
Yes. So it is. It's the Iceberg Lounge is almost a front for like this superhero. Oh, we get a scene. We see that the police commissioner that didn't want Batman on the crime scene is on the TV.
Let's call him
Riddler.
Commissioner Loeb. That's not his name.
Yeah,
we're so disrespectful.
But the commissioner's been murdered by the Riddler.
And this contraption that looks straight out of a Saw movie.
Yes, straight up out of a Saw. There's elements of like Saw torture in here, and they're like, all right, this one the killer posted the killing online. They're like, this is pretty graphic, and so he starts like,
it's like this maze of like, there's like a maze and then a bunch of rats inside the maze, and obviously
it goes together.
What happens?
It goes to his eyes. Yeah. Basically, the rats are gonna eat his eyes through his eyes and he's gonna be murdered. So he dies. Catwoman makes mention that she saw him at 44 Below.
Which is the club inside the club.
Yeah, Batman didn't know what that was.
Iceberg Lounge is the front. 44 Below is the actual club where all the mobsters hang out.
The mobsters and who they have. Yeah, the corrupt cops, who the mobsters have in their pocket. So we get that. This just also ties into the pacing of this movie. Yeah. Done super well. One scene rolls into the next. So learning that information, we get Batman going to see Gordon. And telling we see the like device has a Batman letter. It has another riddle in the Batman letter saying if you find the rat, bring him out into the light.
Oh man, and how that ties to the end of the movie was amazing.
And so they need to find a rat.
Like a snitch, right?
Yeah,
not a physical rat, but a snitch.
Yeah, and so then they blacklight the actual cage device or whatever,
the contraption. And
it says, they take a picture of it. It says you are, in Spanish, says you are el rata alada,
which means flying rat.
Yes,
right? Or rat with wings.
And
anybody can say, oh, right off the bat, he's talking about Batman, and somehow Batman in the movie himself didn't realize that it could
have been Batman, but Batman learns because I don't know if he's put two and two together at this point, but at one point in the near future, or maybe at some point in the movie, Batman figures out that he's only going after corrupt politicians or people that worked on the Maroni case,
and he doesn't know about his parents yet either, too.
Yeah, and
also this is all implying into the Riddler making the audience think that he knows who Batman is.
Yes.
So that I felt that it threw people off the scent in that aspect. I felt like, but the first thing I thought of is like, oh, the Riddler knows who Batman is and Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah, so I don't believe that. I don't believe that he thinks that Batman's being targeted by the Riddler yet. He doesn't put.
You know who walked in as soon as they said that?
Who?
Ramirez.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Ramirez was acting super sus.
Yeah, Ramirez is like...
He was like looking back like...
He says they're coming back.
Yeah,
which
he's keeping watch for...
He's keeping watch for them, so Batman's obviously not allowed. He's still not on good terms. They definitely don't want him at the commissioner's...
They're in the coroner's office, right?
Yes.
At GCPD.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramirez is looking out for him, and
so he comes out. He's like, "They're coming," and he's like, "All right, you got to go."
But we had just got done talking about find the rat and bring him to the light, and the first person that comes in right after they say that is fucking Ramirez.
Yeah,
looking more suspect than ever.
Who's always been the rat in the comic. So, next scene. What's the next scene after that?
Oh shit. Oh my gosh.
I put it on you. I put it on. I put it on you.
Oh no! It just cuts to Bruce Wayne and Gordon at the roof when they're talking. Like, we need to find this rat. We need to bring him to the light. Pretty much reiterating what they were talking in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, oh my gosh,
where do we go after that?
And I've seen this movie 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh.
I'm trying to...
We go to the funeral scene. We watch.
Okay.
It shoots to Bruce Wayne back at Wayne Manor.
He's
reviewing more of the cipher.
He's reviewing El Rada Lada.
Yeah, he's trying to figure that out.
Yes, and
he's fixing to go to the mayor's funeral.
He's all cleaned up. So Alfred comes down and he's like, "Oh shit, are we gonna actually get an actual Bruce Wayne sighting today?" And Bruce Wayne's like, "Well." I'm only going because the killer usually shows up to see the, basically the murder or whatever.
Which he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did do that. Bruce Wayne was right.
Yeah.
So we get Bruce Wayne driving.
We just glossed over the club scene of 44 Below.
Oh yeah, because Yes.
We glossed over the club scene, man.
Yeah, that's not the funeral's not after that.
No.
So after that is Batman goes to Catwoman.
Yeah.
My apologies. They're in this like busted up.
So after GCPD, after Batman and Gordon got done talking about and reviewing the commissioner's body, they saw the riddle, bring the rat into the light, and that's where you'll find me or whatever. I think that's how the riddle went. And then it cuts to Catwoman and Batman and outside the Iceberg Lounge in like an apartment building.
In this like busted up room.
Yeah. Like across the street from the Iceberg Lounge.
Yes.
It's like shit.
Disheveled, just like nasty Gotham, busted up abandoned building. And Batman's putting the camera contacts in Catwoman's eyes.
You have a little bit more dialogue between Catwoman and Batman, and it
tells him that Zoe Kravitz plays an excellent Catwoman.
Yeah.
She's
I think she's my favorite.
She's tremendous Catwoman.
Personally, I think she's just way better than Anne Hathaway, but they didn't give Anne Hathaway that much to work with either.
I don't remember Anne Hathaway's performance in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I really have blocked out a lot of Dark Knight Rises from my brain. I may need to watch it again.
Dude, I had something to tie into that. Something where they were flawed in the Nolan trilogy. It has nothing to do with this movie, though.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. So,
Batman's putting the contact lenses in Catwoman so she can go in there and infiltrate because she's already working as a cocktail waitress in there.
She can get in. Bruce Wayne's learned that Batman's not getting into 44 Below and learning anything. So, Catwoman tells him that she's only there to try to find her friend.
What you doing?
Yeah.
Because Batman's always like playing the cold shoulder sometimes. He was like, "Look at me," and they're looking into each other's eyes, and
yeah, she's kind of got almost like a okay, you can kiss me face. Yeah, like go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And Batman's like,
right.
They look good.
The
contacts look good. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah. Get your ass in there.
She's like, oh, whatever. So she goes in there. Then she starts. So once she gets into 44 Below.
Before she's walking up to the elevator, the guy stops her. We learn it's Officer Kinsey. Batman's like, hey, I broke that guy's nose.
Yeah.
And he's like, get an ID on him. So we learn with that technology, Batman can get an ID if you have the person's like full face scanned long enough. Batman can ID them and put them in his database or whatever.
That's when you first found out That's an off-duty GCPD officer.
Mm-hmm. So
working at the 44 Below as a bouncer.
Working as a bouncer for the Penguin.
Yeah.
And so we go down into 44 Below. There's guys eyeing Selena Kyle, and Batman kind of she does like a normal woman that, like, you know, just creepy dudes staring at you, and you kind of just like play off of them and get away, just get away from them.
And as she's doing, she's scanning everybody's face in the room, and she's picking up politicians, like lawyers, people that are in positions of power in Gotham.
Batman has to tell her, he has to say, you need to look at their faces a little bit
longer.
Well,
she walked by one guy, and he was like, wait, I recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at him again, she's like, fuck, all right, I'll look at him. Boom, it's the district attorney.
The DA is in 44 Below.
In 44 Below.
And he comes up, and we got a reaction in our theater on opening premiere, because he comes up, and he's like just kind of a nerdy guy.
Goofy. Like, well, he's dropped out of his mind, of course. Of course, remember the drugs drops. He's on drugs right now.
So he's sitting at a table, and Selena Kyle's like, oh, just some drop heads or whatever.
Yeah.
And which basically, people just getting drugged out of their minds in the club. And so she goes over, sits down with him. Oh, I forgot. That got a reaction in our theater. The dude, we got like a laugh.
Oh, yeah.
This theater I went to today, nobody laughed. I was like, it's funny.
I thought it was funny, too.
Yeah,
it was just like a silly moment. Like,
I chuckled.
You want to come over? And she's like, sure.
Yeah,
like, whatever. She was acting so goofy in that scene.
Yeah, she had to, she was just playing. She was playing it. Yeah, she was playing it up. She put her hand on his leg to try to pull more information off of him. And
he starts talking. He starts talking about...
He's telling everything. He's scared of the Riddler.
They've got an informant.
He knows, yeah. So then
the DA's... Well, first off, they sit down, and who's he sitting with? At the entire DA. Half the DA's office. Half
the DA's office. Half these, lawmaker, law enforcement.
Guys that are supposed to be protecting people, and they're out here
putting away bad people. So he's drugged. He starts just giving up some information, lets Catwoman know that he's scared of the Riddler because there's this rat, and once Batman hears, oh shit, there's an informant, the rat, he's like, press for more.
And I mean, I didn't really realize how important the few things that he said there were that tied to the rest of the movie, because if you just dismiss it as just like, oh, he's just talking about the rat, but he's talking about serious... There's shit
going down.
Serious details about this court case, about...
He's involved.
Yeah, about the major case that they brought down, the Maronis, which is another crime family. The Maronis got brought down sometime before the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a year or just sometime
before. Basically, like...
Or actually, maybe 2 years before the movie.
I don't think so.
Because I think that's what put the position of power where those people are at now.
Okay.
You know? And so it could be 2 years, could be a year of the Maronis, another crime family. They got taken out. But the only reason they got taken out is because they got information from the rat, and we still don't know who the rat was.
Who the rat is? We're trying to figure out who the rat is.
Mm-hmm.
So
that put all these, politicians, all these cops, the commissioner probably himself too, and these positions of power.
Basically this got everybody,
that tied everybody together in these positions of power into corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we learned that stringed the mayor who died, police commissioner who died, and the DA now all together. Yeah, they're all in.
And pretty much a lot of
it made the careers. It was
police force.
It made the careers of these guys. Basically, this was like a career accomplishment. This would set them up for life. So
of course, rigged because
then we get different Batman. He's pressing Catwoman to keep asking for information, but the girl that the DA is with mentions Catwoman's friend.
She's like, hey,
and so she's like, fuck the
don't
rat.
Talk about this. Yeah, don't talk about this because this is what got a Russian girl killed not too long ago, which was Catwoman's friend.
Yeah, so Catwoman's like, all right, back up, hold up, I'm gonna follow. And
she gets up and leaves. Like the girl that said that gets up and leaves.
And so Catwoman follows her, and Batman's like, no, sit back down with the DA. I need more information. I need you to keep pressing him. And Catwoman's like, fuck that. They have different agendas right now.
Yeah.
And so this is where we get a little bit of a split, and Catwoman ends up getting upset at Batman and that's when we get she
contact.
she goes to the bathroom. She's looking in the mirror and she's talking to Bruce Wayne.
We missed the spot. Before she goes, she runs into none other than the Penguin, which we've already seen,
Mm-hmm.
and the other crime boss, or one of the two most powerful crime families in Gotham. One of them was the Maronis, which got taken out, which put all these people in power, and then is Carmine Falcone, the other
high mobster mob boss
in Gotham.
So she sees him, and there's a
interaction. It was like
a little creepy kind of Catwoman. This isn't the first time she's seen Carmine Falcone. Basically, so there's something that's going on there.
Us reading the comics, and I don't know. Did you read
Long Halloween?
Year One?
No, I never read Year One.
Okay, well, no, and I mean it's in Long Halloween too. But me reading the comics, I already knew that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew what that was,
mm-hmm.
and especially in Dark Victory, you need to read Dark Victory, dude. It's
okay.
Good. It's good. I'll let you borrow it sometime. But I knew that relationship. Amber thought it was like a sleaze bag hitting on Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't say anything, of course, until the end of the movie. But yeah, we see that interaction between Falcone and Selina Kyle. Which, and it was just like a creepy...
It is creepy, and it also makes Batman question Selina Kyle's like whole thing, because he knows who Carmine Falcone is, and what he stands for, and so
and he's like, "You have a relationship with Carmine Falcone?" And she's like, "I don't have a relationship with him. Fuck you," and takes the contact
so
off.
That it causes the rift that had been split from the agendas, him trying to make her stay there,
mm-hmm.
her talking to Carmine Falcone. It just starts this rift between them. She ends up like going in the bathroom, takes contacts out. So this is where we get Bruce Wayne dressed up as actual Bruce Wayne.
Yes, now we get
he's watching the contact footage, and he's just
funeral attire. He's in funeral attire. That's what we were going to talk about earlier, and then we skipped a major plot point.
We skipped this,
wait, we skipped another major plot point. We're just so eager. We're so eager.
What did we miss?
So Catwoman leaves the club, gets followed by the district attorney. So she leaves the club after her disagreement with Batman. Leaves the club. She's standing outside waving a cab down. The district attorney that was flirting with her follows her out. And he's like, "Let me give you a ride." And she's like, "No thanks, whatever." And he's like, "No, my car's like right over there." It cuts to a scene, a point of view shot from within the car, and we just get like a slight piece of like somebody's head.
The inside of the car is
fog,
very condensation. Like
the windows are all
he when he goes in, it looks like whenever you have sex inside of a car, how the car windows look.
I agree.
Somebody's been breathing very heavily in that car.
And so and it cuts to the point of view of somebody in the car, and you know who it is because you can tell who it is by the breathing. It's the same breathing that happened at the very beginning of the movie, and it's the Riddler, and he's waiting in the back seat. And so the DA's like, "I'll give you a ride." Catwoman's like, "No, I'm leaving." DA's like, "Whatever." Gets in his car. As soon as he gets in his car, I always check the back seat, man. Do you check the back seat when you get inside your car at night?
No.
You need to start checking your back seat.
Okay. Listen,
I always check the back seat.
He notices that the only reason he notices that somebody's in the car is because somebody's taking the headrest off of one of the seats.
Oh, yeah. He looks into the passenger seat. The headrest is gone. And he's like, what the fuck?
And the Riddler hits him with something hard, but doesn't knock him out. Or it knocks him out for a second, but it doesn't kill him.
It incapacitates him for a little bit.
So he falls over, and the horn's honking. The Riddler pulls him back and puts a collar around his neck.
Dude, and it starts
flashing.
Jigsaw Saw device on him.
So it starts flashing. It's got the white and the red flashing on it, and you hear him coming to, and the Riddler's shushing him, and you hear him do the duct tape. Yeah,
tapes his mouth,
and it kind of zooms out. And you can see that the Riddler is literally sitting right there, and Batman and Catwoman were right there and didn't even know it.
Dude, they were right next to the seawall.
Yeah.
They were right next to it.
They're right next to the van that will come up later. So
now we have...
Cut to Bruce Wayne the third time. We cut to Bruce Wayne. He's
in his funeral attire.
Creepy Bruce Wayne. He's playing over Catwoman, telling him kind of to F himself.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Alfred comes down, he's like, "Oh, nice friend. She's very pretty."
Yeah.
And or he's like, are y'all friends? And Batman's like, "I'm not sure anymore." And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be Bruce Wayne today."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. That ensues. Bruce Wayne's like, "I need to go to the funeral."
Because the murderer has a tendency of going to the funeral, what we were talking about earlier,
Yes.
which he does. But
Yes. So Batman, Bruce Wayne drives up
in the sickest car ever.
Yeah,
But
these nice ass cars.
Always with
this movie was a car lover's dream.
it was nice. I don't know what kind of car it was.
But while Batman's driving, he also sees the Riddler has some fans, and there's some people out there.
He pulls up
almost protesting the funeral, saying, this is
unmask
bullshit.
the truth.
No more lies.
Yeah, no more lies.
The Riddlers,
people dressed up as
Riddler. Are in it, and Bruce Wayne's kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
this guy's murdering
they're dressed up
people.
as Riddler, but not how he looks. It was just more like
there's some parallels to just kind of modern day aligning yourself with sides that have agendas. True. Is never a good thing. If one side says something that the other side doesn't like, and you
all of a sudden people are dying.
You base your whole reality on that, and you don't think of like any sort of consequences or anything like that. It's just
you start seeing it as an ideology more than an actual, or
that it's not just
an agenda, I guess, or like a plan or a plan of action. But
so,
you start believing in this.
So there's some ties to some modern day stuff. Definitely there's some political and whatever. Blah blah blah.
So he pulls up to the funeral scene. We've got Riddler protesters and the poor man's cosplay, should I say? Because later on, we'll get into it. But they're in like, just wearing green, not really looking exactly like the Riddler, but they have like beanies on and they're green or whatever, protesting with signs.
So then we get Carmine Falcone, who we had just seen earlier, talking to Catwoman, getting out, coming to the funeral, and he helps out a woman with the same boots that Selina Kyle and the Russian girl, and it's strikingly similar figure, similar everything, and you don't see the woman's face, you see her from the background. So Bruce Wayne, being kind of creepy, thinks it's Selina Kyle, obviously, and he's gonna go talk to her, which doesn't make sense because she doesn't know that he's Bruce Wayne.
That's true. He could have exposed himself.
Yeah, he could have, but he was willing to talk to Selina.
Yeah,
which I think shows a lot.
Which is kind of good that it wasn't her, because up to now she still doesn't know who Batman is.
No, yes. So,
okay. But before we move on, they they hid that so well. They lied to us in the trailers. I felt like
they hid that like Carmine Falcone's in this.
Or there were promotional shots of Selina Kyle in that outfit that girl was in.
Oh, okay.
And we just never saw her in that outfit, so I don't know if it was really...
I think Matt Reeves talked about that. He talked about filming fake scenes for the trailers and stuff to kind of take you off the scent.
Right.
So...
because it goes back to the point you're saying, she wouldn't have known, and it would have exposed Bruce as being Batman, so... Maybe they did film it, and maybe they thought it over, used a different scene.
Maybe.
I don't know. But anyways, they go... Bruce tries to approach her.
He tries to approach. He gets a little too close, and the Penguin says, grabs him by the chest.
He fucking put his hand.
You don't get close to Carmine. Yeah,
take it easy.
Yeah, basically, and so Carmine, that leads Carmine and the woman to turn around, and it's not Catwoman.
No.
So, but Carmine's like, "Whoa, hold on there! You're touching the Prince of Gotham."
This is the first time we see Falcone and Bruce Wayne interact in the movie. Of course, it's the first time they interact in the movie.
And so they talk. Bruce Wayne kind of talks about how he's like, the funeral brought out the most reclusive character in Gotham besides himself.
Yeah.
And so Falcone, they make the fact out that he doesn't leave because one time he left and he had been shot.
Yeah.
And when he was shot, he couldn't go to a hospital, so he went to Thomas Wayne's house, and on his table...
pronounced surgeon, of course, but in this he's running for mayor, but whatever.
Yeah, So
they could have...
He's probably a surgeon that takes on
political views,
the political aspects to try to help. So whatever, yada yada yada.
Major nod to the Long Halloween again, because that scene
basically Carmine Falcone is ripped. This Carmine Falcone is ripped straight from Long Halloween.
Yeah.
His whole story is Long Halloween story.
Yeah.
So besides like the murders happening for him. So
he doesn't have kids, or he does,
but his children and family aren't being murdered in this.
Yeah,
that's not what this is about. This is about the.
Well, we actually don't know because then they can come in a later date.
What's that?
In the sequel.
That could happen. He could have, but basically, the Long Halloween. Page for page is not this movie.
No, it's not page for page, but you never know. We could get some of those characters.
We could. Because definitely.
As of now, we don't have a Maroney gang to
play off of. We don't have a Maroney gang. That's true. So,
anyways, okay, so
he tells
him, Prince of Gotham, look Penguin, or look Oz. Mm-hmm. This is the Prince of Gotham, whatever. And so I like how his reactions. He's like, "Oh, hi," or whatever.
Yeah, so this is where I think Bruce kind of learns that. When he's Bruce Wayne, the filth and the scum of Gotham aren't afraid of him, don't want to fight him, don't want to try to kill him. They're actually very
respectful,
very happy to see him because he's got money.
Yeah,
and they don't know his views on stuff. He could be a low life gangster for all they know.
Also, they got some other ties that we'll get into later in the movie.
And so I think Bruce Wayne kind of notices that he starts like playing a little bit of detective. He looks at some shady characters in the crowd.
I think he also realized in that moment that the Penguin's he's not the head of anything. He's just like
he's tied to Falcone's
head. He's not an informant. What is he, like an enforcer almost of what Falcone? Because the Penguin works for Falcone.
Yeah,
so the Penguin is not an established. He's not even the Penguin.
No, not yet.
It's just called.
This is the origin story of Penguin.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get more of that whenever the TV show comes out.
Right.
Where I think that's gonna be his rise to power because even in the end credit scenes,
he's just looking out into Gotham and he's playing. He's plotting.
Bruce is
we're getting off. Okay, we'll get back to it. And then Bruce Wayne walks into the
funeral.
Yeah,
where they're having it. He notices the orphan. He just stares at him like he did when he was Batman. Mm-hmm. She's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
He's also listening into
Gordon. Maria,
Gordon.
You're talking about something else.
He's listening into Gordon and Ramirez and the other policemen talking.
And they're like, Coulson hasn't been seen.
Yeah, so we learned that Coulson, the DA, is missing.
The DA that got the fucking saw trap around his neck the night before is missing.
He's missing, hasn't been heard from. And so all of a sudden we hear some like loud thumping outside. People are screaming.
Before we get there, so Bruce Wayne walks into the cathedral. And he's looking out. Remember, the only reason he's there is because he suspects the Riddler's
He's
there.
Looking for Riddler. He's
playing
walking
detective, and he's looking at people he's suspicious of, and they just happen to be wearing green as well, which I think ties to later in the movie as well. That those are some of who's whatever, but. And then some guy makes a comment about his daughter dying, and the scum of Gotham didn't help to do anything about it.
They talk about the renewal.
Yeah.
And he said it doesn't catch everybody. It doesn't catch.
That guy comes back.
Yeah, so that guy does come back. But the guy says, "Hey, don't I know you?" Which does not... So the guy I was sitting with, a really cool guy that I met at the premiere, he was like, "Oh, that guy was the person that Bruce tells, or Batman says, I'm vengeance to in that Joker gang." But he's not. After the second viewing, he was like,
that guy has bald.
And that guy has a tattoo around
First
his
off,
neck.
the guy he beat the shit out of...
He's probably in the hospital.
Is bald. Yeah, and he's probably still breathing through a fucking tube.
Yeah, so... he says, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?" And even Tabby asked me about that. She's like, and I was like, maybe he just knows that he's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne.
Now that I think about it, I don't know where he would have seen him.
Yeah.
Maybe a deleted scene or something. I don't know.
Maybe. That's what I was thinking too. So he mentioned something about having seen Bruce Wayne before.
That phrase would have made more sense when he comes back in the movie.
Yeah. So...
Because he's not sure, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, he notices some sketchy
figures. He also gets talked to by the person that's running against... the mayor.
I think at this point she's a mayor, isn't she?
No, not yet.
She's
She's going to be though, obviously. but she's talking and she's telling Bruce Wayne that he doesn't do anything for the city, and that he could do more, which is in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then
they've got a history of philanthropy, and you just happen to not.
The family has it, but he doesn't, which I believe we'll get later on.
Yeah.
Where Bruce is going to learn that they take Alfred's advice about
that's what
you have to show appearances.
Well, that's where we'll see the other layers of Bruce Wayne.
I think that's all part of Bruce Wayne's arc.
Yeah.
In this, because I think almost like how Peter Parker had his arc in the Homecoming, Far From Home, like No Way Home trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like Peter has that arc. Like No Way Home makes you feel like, and I know we're talking about a Spider-Man movie now, but No Way Home's arc of Peter Parker makes like Aunt May's death in that so much harder and so much like better. Mm-hmm. And where they leave him, like his story, and it makes those movies better. And so I believe that in this, we're getting Bruce Wayne as this dark, brooding orphan still, and we're going to progress into him learning how to be the rich socialite that can also
be the philanthropist, be the people's person, be the guy that
be
the people that they can look up to, and this guy's going to change. Gotham
instead of Batman, he also can play both sides.
So like here are the things I always think of Bruce Wayne. It's like you've got the philanthropist, which that's what she was inferring to. Mm-hmm. You haven't done any of that.
Yeah.
And you always see it in the comics and in the TV shows where he's donating a fucking school or a library or millions of dollars.
He puts money into Gotham.
And he wants people to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. And his community to be successful. Then you have the billionaire playboy that he has money and he flaunts it and he doesn't give a shit what's going on around him, and he's rich and that's that's a good cover for I was off in the Alps skiing. That's why I wasn't.
That's why I can't be Batman.
Yeah, I can't be Batman. That's why my leg's broken or whatever.
Yeah, the Dark Knight does it very well, and that's also I'm happy they didn't do that like right away, because the Dark Knight does show the Dark Knight does Bruce's like billionaire playboy side very well.
That's why they did a better Bruce Wayne, but it's almost not fair to say because that's a trilogy. We don't know yet. That's a trilogy. So
I would say Batman Begins shows a little bit of it, but the Dark Knight has like Alfred telling him you have to take the Russian team like out in the ocean so you can go to China basically and bag that guy. Also shows like Bruce Wayne doesn't drink in that very well without blatantly saying it. He goes out on the balcony to talk to Rachel and he throws the champagne flute off the side of it. Okay,
we're getting off topic. Okay, so philanthropy, Bruce Wayne. We've got playboy millionaire Bruce Wayne, and then we have the brooding Bruce Wayne that's literally a step away from being Batman, and he's just analyzing everything, and he's just too focused on the task at hand that it's before he turns into Batman. So that's the philanthropist, playboy, and then just like the dark Bruce Wayne that's basically focused on everything, and then you have Batman.
You got Batman.
So I feel like those are the four personalities that
Bruce Wayne takes on.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And I feel like this is off topic, but I feel like that's how Mark Spector and Mr. Knight and all that for Moon Knight's coming up pretty soon. We're gonna see all the different.
Well, he is like,
and Moon Knight has names. Yeah, Moon Knight. Yeah, Mr. Knight. He has Mark Spector. He has like 3 civilian personalities, and then
like
he's
Richard or whatever. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm excited. But, okay, back to Batman.
So he's talking to the mayor-elect, or she's not elected, but she's going to be the mayor, Belle Real.
He looks at the son of the mayor sitting there in the seat, depressed.
And then we get the loud booming. Yeah. A car breaks through the glass doors, comes barreling towards Bruce. Bruce runs, moves the kid out of the way, kind of throws him away, does like a little spin roll thing. The car shoots off to the right, slams into a column.
Cops storm the place.
Yeah, cops.
Pick your fucking hands up.
Yeah, so he opens the door and
sticks a phone out first.
And it's Coulson with the bomb around his neck. Mm-hmm. And somebody
from
screams,
the night before, and there's ciphers all over his car as well.
Yeah, and so the cop the cops are like, "Oh shit, it's Coulson."
He
And
gets out. He's got a fucking sign to the Batman.
Yeah, the letter on his shirt,
and then the fucking phone starts ringing.
Yeah, well, somebody screams like he has a bomb on his neck.
Yeah.
And so then the phone starts ringing. Everybody freaks out, and the cops are like, "All right, get everybody out of here." Then the
whole day passes.
Yeah, so we cut to that night.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of sitting there waiting.
Bomb squad's at the door.
Bomb squad is waiting. SWAT team. They got everybody out. Yeah, they have like a little like rolling drone in with a camera, and the police. I think it's police chief now. He comes in. He's like, "Who's he looking at?"
Yeah.
And you hear the
footsteps.
The footsteps coming through the shadows. Same as whenever he came in.
The first scene of the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the first scene that shows the Batman in the suit. So. He's walking up, and the camera is like catching him. The police are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
like,
where'd this fucking guy come from?
Yeah, they tell Gordon, they're like, "Your guy's about to get himself killed," and so Batman rips off the duct tape off of Coulson's mouth. He starts like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. He made me do it. He told me he's gonna kill me. Blah blah blah. Then Batman opens up the letter. The letter basically just says answer the phone.
Answer the phone. Yeah, you're just a phone call away or whatever.
I'm just a phone call away. Answer.
It was some sort of.
It says like
riddle.
It says something.
It's like a clever riddle type.
It said, "Do you want to know who I am?" Or no, that's back from the rat. Sorry.
Pretty much answers the phone. He answers the phone.
He answers the phone.
This is the first interaction between Batman and the Riddler.
This is the first time they speak to each other. So. It's like a FaceTime call, and the Riddler's talking, and he's like, he tells Batman he's a part of this.
Yeah.
Basically, Batman doesn't need to be there because he just wants to tell riddles. He just wants to have Coulson
He wants to make him aware. He wants to make him aware.
So,
which ties back to making the audience think Riddler knows he's Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. But he's saying you're a part of
this too, and then later in the movie we figure out that one of the targets is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So
and it turns out later in the movie we find out that Riddler's fucking crazy and he just wanted Batman's help and he wanted to be friends with Batman.
He wants to be partners with Batman.
Yeah.
He thinks that Batman's doing justice and he wants to be a part of it.
Which ties back to we're getting too far.
We'll come back to it. He has Coulson flip the phone, and he starts the bomb caller at like a minute. He's like, answer these 3 riddles, and I'll give the code to unlatch the collar. Which I don't think even if that would have happened, he wasn't gonna unlatch it. So
he wouldn't have had enough time. I feel like
he answers the first riddle. The riddle's like.
What is the prize for you? No.
It's the answer's justice.
Justice.
He's like, if it leaves or whatever, people get violent. And so Batman's like, it's justice. And so he says justice. He's like, all right, good. All right, what? Then it's, what is the price for your blind eye? And Batman's like, bribes. And the guy said bribes. And he's like, no. The Riddler's just kind of laughing at this point.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, no, he wants to know exactly how much.
And so it pretty much exposes him.
Yes, because
by the way,
the Riddler's live streaming.
Yeah, the Riddler's doing all this in a live stream.
Mm-hmm. So Gotham's watching Coulson answer to his sins, basically.
Yeah, exposing himself.
Yeah, and so he tells Batman he's getting $10,000 a month to not prosecute
the rat.
Certain people.
Certain
people.
Certain informants. Yeah.
Certain informants. Certain people to just throw some cases out, to put in some people in jail. Blah blah blah. He's getting paid $10,000 a month. He's sitting pretty. Then we cut to third riddle, and he asks. Basically, the riddle's like, "Who is the rat?"
Yeah.
Tell me who the informant is. Say his name. And
Coulson's like, nope.
Coulson won't do it.
I can't do it because I'm a dead man anyways, regardless. Because if I tell you who the rat is, I'll die. I have a family at stake, and if I just don't say anything, I'll just die.
Mm-hmm. And so time runs out. Batman takes a full fucking bomb to his
the
chest.
Face, like from ear to the microphone, and he just fucking boom.
I don't know how his chin wasn't fucked from that.
They're gonna play it where he had his hands like this, but he did not fucking have.
No, Batman took it. Batman took it to the chest. Which later on, I'm like, how did he?
It was
take
cool
that?
though. They had like some of his scars on his cowl. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, and that.
But somehow his face was fine.
Yeah.
His face.
So
he's got a jaw of steel.
He does. Robert Pattinson's jaw is immaculate. So then we cut to Bruce Wayne just kind of passes out. Then we get some like light in Batman's eyes like being open, and people are prodding him and examining him, and somebody says like, I'm just gonna take his mask off, and so they reach for his mask, and that's when Batman wakes up. He kind of is like, no, and Gordon gets between him, and we learn that he's in the middle. He's in GCPD
lockup in an interrogation room.
In an interrogation room, and there's like 40 other cops in there with him.
Yeah.
The thing is fucking full
it's like
of people.
He looked like an animal in a cage,
basically,
just trapped with all those guys in there. And so
Gordon's kind of protecting him, and somebody comes after him again, and he kind of pushes him and hits him.
Fucking punches him. I think.
Yeah, he pops him.
And the police chief is there now, and he's saying you're an accessory to murder or whatever because you were there at the crime scene.
Yeah, he tells Gordon, he's like, your guy dealt in an active crime scene.
Yeah.
Or active hostage situation. He's literally got the guy's blood.
Then
on his hands.
Cop reaches for his cow, and Batman just fucking goes and punches him in the throat or something.
Yeah, and so then the chief's like, all right, now I got you for assaulting an officer. And
you got me for assaulting three. And he goes for him. And Gordon's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, that's
Gordon fucking pushed him into.
He pushed him into the wall, and he puts his finger in his head, and he's like, that's not how we do this.
I was scared. I was scared for Gordon when he did that because he fucking shoved him into that wall.
But Batman respects him. They got a relationship. This really shows a relationship.
He almost lost his respect because he's like, you two, you're corrupt too.
And so that's when Gordon's like, give me a second with him, Chief. Give me the floor.
Yeah.
And so the chief.
Batman's accusing of the chief being corrupt. He said, he wouldn't say anything because what? He's like, scared of you.
Yeah. And so the chief's like, all right, guys, let's get him out of here. Gordon kind of is like plays tough baller on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we gotta
He's like, look, man, I'm gonna give you the key. You're gonna go to the roof, but he's putting this persona like he's talking shit to him.
Yeah. He's like, you're gonna punch me in the face.
He's like, how am I gonna get out of here? He's gonna punch me in the face.
Yeah.
And then Mackenzie walks in. Walks in.
He sees him. Kenzie's asking. He's like, "What's going on? Yeah, what's going on in there?"
Because at this point, the cops are outside the interrogation room.
Yeah,
and it's just Gordon and Batman.
Batman gets Gordon's attention. He's like, "That guy. He's
a mustache. He's a mustache with a broken nose." He's like, "That's Mackenzie. He's in charge of narcotics."
I thought forensics narcotics.
I thought it was narcotics because it had to do with the drops.
Okay, it might be narcotics. Yeah, you're right.
And then he's like, "Take this key, go to the roof." Whatever.
But while his attention is on Kenzie,
dude, that was fucking hilarious.
Batman was like, he moonlights as a guy at Penguin's Club, and Batman's like, no, he moonlights as a cop here. And then before Gordon can like turn back and look at him, he just fucking whacks him.
He just fucking boom.
It's just like an instant. Like he opens the door and he shuts it.
Close it behind, and all the cops are rushing.
Yeah, they start rushing. They grab. He's like,
so it was part of the plan. It was part of the plan, right?
He's running through. This is the scene we get in the trailers whenever he zip lines up. And it's just the spiral staircase.
I feel like this figure is just based off. McFarlane does a terrible job. I feel like they find a pose, and they base the entire figure off of that. And
yeah. So he does this. He shoots the grapple hook. He goes straight up. He goes straight up to the roof, and every cop on like every floor is taking pop shots.
Dude, they're coming out from every fucking orifice. Yeah.
That was
they're coming out of the toilets. They're coming out of the urinals. There's so many cops.
Like whenever you step on an ant pile, they fucking bum rushed his ass.
And Batman's running. Oh, I love this scene.
He runs out on the roof, and he gets scared. He's kind of like, oh shit,
like almost stepped off the
almost slipped off.
I like about what tells us about this is that his bat cape is not what we're always used to seeing, where he can glide with his cape.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's more realistic. That's not realistic.
It's just a cape.
Yeah, it's just a cape.
It's just a cape. He can't use it as a glider. It doesn't like weave or anything like that. And so
he almost falls off the building as he's being chased by the cops.
And he pulls out.
He just fucking grabs some string or something.
Yeah, right? He's got this attachment on his suit, and it just kind of puts this like little wingsuit.
He just fucking goes like this, and then the wingsuit comes out.
This is the only corny part of the movie. Oh, so he jumps off, and he's flying, and it gets on his face.
That was corny.
And it's like him doing this with his face. And
Yeah,
that's
that was corny. That was corny.
Yeah.
And they would have had every other shot from when he was diving from behind though. Mm-hmm. That was cool. But when
every
up
shot,
to his face,
every shot is cool except for the one on his face where it shows his body, because you can tell he's just on strings and he's just like, yeah.
But that was cool though. So he puts the wingsuit. The way it comes out of his suit, it's almost like in his suit already.
Almost like an inflation.
And
like,
it just
looks like he was
his...
going to jump into like an ocean and just have like a floaty on or something.
Yeah. And he fucking glides off, the corny scenes, but I still fucking loved it. I
mean,
I
like
did think they were corny though. I did think they were corny.
Only the spots of his face.
Yeah, when they showed it from his face. And then he's like gliding, and you can tell he probably hasn't done this. This is probably his first time gliding off of a building. Yeah. And he's fucking panting and breathing hard. Mm-hmm. And he's like looking around to see where he's going to land. And he sees a bus. He's like, I think I'm going to try to land on the bus or under the bridge or whatever the fuck he was thinking. And he pulls like a ripcord and a parachute comes out.
So the little thing for the chute comes out.
And it snags the fucking bridge. And he hits the top of the bridge. And then he hits the bus. Then he fucking hits the concrete. Dude, he
rolls. He's fucked.
Yeah.
He's fucked up pretty good.
Man,
I really thought he was gonna lay there and almost have like the scene in Batman Begins when he gets hit with the toxin gas, the scarecrow gas, and he just like lays on the roof. He's like, Alfred. Yeah. Which is a scene in. Actually, I don't think you read the comic.
Which one?
Last Night on Earth.
No.
The very beginning. That there's a scene like that in it, but I thought he was gonna do that, but he kind of walks off into an alley and it cuts. Okay, so this was
weird. Yeah, it cuts. This is and all of a sudden he has his cape again, and he's on the roof.
Yeah,
and
so
he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, so this is
when he hit this fucking bridge, then he hit the bus, then he hit the concrete. This motherfucker got up, and he looked like he had a femur sticking out of his fucking skin. And then it cuts to him with Gordon on the roof.
On the roof, talking about what they learned.
Yeah, I think that's where he's like, we need to find the rat. That's when he was like, we need to find the rat. But he's perfectly fine. He's not injured.
So this is the only thing that took me out of it. And I was talking to Tabby about it. I was like, there's one scene. Yeah, it's that one, right? Yeah. After, I was like, because the pacing's good. The like, one thing leads to another. But I was like, I feel like they almost cut him going back to the Batcave and like patching himself up or something.
Yeah, they should have done that first.
Because I think they said the first cut of the movie was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, it was like 4 hours long.
And they chopped it. Yeah. So... Cuts to him on the roof. He's talking to Gordon. Basically, they decide that the penguin is the rat with wings. They're going to go after the penguin. So they roll up. It's fucking pouring rain again.
At this point, Batman hasn't talked to Selina since the Iceberg Lounge incident when she ran into Falcone.
Yeah,
and so they haven't heard. And then, before that happens, they're like, hey, where are you? She put a little note on the contact lens, like, where are you? Remember?
That's not this part yet, though.
Yeah, because they did that before. Oh, no, you're right. That's after this next part.
She needs to talk to him after that. So
they go. It's raining.
Raining. They go to this just kind of abandoned warehouse, almost like car shop looking thing.
It's like a shipping yard.
Okay, it is
like
a
shipping yard, like a Falcone shipping yard.
You can see that they're getting. It's almost like a drop producing place, and some cars roll up. And I think they're following Kinsey.
Well, no, they're following Penguin from the Iceberg Lounge.
Oh, they're following...
And Kinsey shows up.
Okay, yeah, and
Kinsey shows up with money.
With bags of money.
Yeah.
And we learned that Selina Kyle was following Kinsey with the money.
Yeah.
And she shows up to basically make a hit.
Yeah, to steal that money.
Steal the money.
To case that money.
Yeah.
And so she's digging through the bags. So she gets that, everybody's doing their shit. The business transaction's going on, I guess, right inside or whatever. Catwoman lands. She breaks into the car and she's casing. She's opening the bags. Okay, here's the money. Batman approaches her and like, you did all that just to steal, to steal this money? She's like, no, but I'm also looking for my friend. The next bag she opens is her friend's dead body. Mm-hmm. And she's just like shocked.
Oh shit. And then all of a sudden, before we could get like a honest reaction, you just hear like loud ass gunshots and fucking gunshots just go up Batman, and it's the Penguin. Yeah. He lit Batman up.
Oz fucking came out with an Uzi and just sprayed.
He hit like every shot.
Dude, yeah, he landed him, and he sprayed the side of the car and got Batman like up the side, and then Gordon was like, oh shit, and he pulls up, and starts like
He
providing.
starts popping some people, but he's getting shot at.
He's getting covering fire. Oh, that scene was good, man.
Yeah, that
because he's doing covering fire, and then like all those gangsters are just fucking his car up, and Gordon has to get under his door and stuff.
And Selena Kyle, like, she looks down. Batman's just like kind of laid out.
He's fucking laid out.
Yeah,
he's fucking laid out.
Oz is coming up. He's ready to fucking like kill the Batman basically, and Batman's nowhere to be found.
As he's walking around the car, he's like, "Oh shit, he's not there anymore." And then so I think he was gonna keep going around the car, and Selena Kyle's on that other side, and he's like, "Oh shit, is the Penguin gonna find Selena and like shoot her or something?" And then we were blessed with the best Batmobile sequence of all time.
Yeah,
all you hear in the fucking bottom of your balls. And fucking Oz fucking turned around and he looks and
everybody stops what they're doing.
Yeah, everything fucking you can just hear rain dropping and that fucking and dude, oh man, I love that scene. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. The
Batmobile is great, but yeah, this is one of the best scenes in the movie. So we basically get Penguin's like, all right, we gotta get the fuck out of here. He's like, Kinsey, grab the money and get in the car.
He looks under the bridge, and what do we see? We see fucking just the silhouette of the Batman or the Batmobile, and then the fucking engine cranks up. The fucking blue fire coming out the back.
The blue flame is on the back, and there's like it's just fucking smoking behind it.
It looks like a fucking demon, just like ready to pounce. And Penguin's just like, all right, we gotta get the fuck out.
Yeah, so he's like, wrap it up. Penguin gets in the car. He tells Kinsey to grab the money and get in the car, but he fucking floors it.
Yeah,
he's spooked. He leaves Kinsey. Catwoman hops on her bike. She peels out of there. She knocks Kinsey down with her bike, grabs one of the bags of money, and she takes off. Yeah,
knocks him down.
She throws it, and she's gone. She's gone. And so this leads into
she goes her own way.
She goes her own way. We kind of just leave Gordon there to fend for himself, but I'm assuming he just got out.
Yeah.
Batman fucking takes off. He's after the Penguin.
Oz leaves. He's fucking peeling out, and you just fucking see the bat coming up behind on Oz, and he's just stalking him. Even in his car, it's like he's a fucking like a movie monster, or like just like a Michael Myers type esque.
He's coming to get him.
And like Oz does like a sharp right turn, and Batman just keeps going straight. And he's just like, okay, I lost him. And then all of a sudden, boom! He comes out of a fucking railing.
And I think he taps his like ass in. And he's like, this guy's a psycho.
He's
or something.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, this guy's crazy. Yeah. And so he's like, kind of laughing, but this car chase ensues.
They're weaving through traffic, incoming traffic.
Yeah, Penguin taps a car. He peels out.
Yeah.
Batman's like running through shit, going around.
He's drifting. He's going like... I think he got side by side with Penguin at one point, and he was going into a fucking semi-truck, and Batman did not give a fuck.
No, Penguin's shooting like the Uzi at the Batmobile.
Oh, dude, that was a good scene.
And Batman's like, "You're not gonna hit me. You're not getting bullets, 9mm bullets."
Oh yeah, when they were riding next to each other, and
he's just staring at
Uzi
him.
And just
they're just kind of staring at each other.
Oh, that was a good scene. That was a really good scene.
Then he peels off of him.
Avoids the 18-wheeler.
Yeah, Oz ends up kind of like losing him in some traffic.
He goes on, it's like he takes an exit or some shit. And Batman drifts around the 18-wheeler or whatever, comes back, takes the exit, keeps following him. Oz fucking loses him somehow, like just weaving through cars.
He gets a couple like car lengths ahead of him, and then he gets on like this crowded ass highway,
and he just can't get any further.
Yeah, basically Oz is like weaving through. Batman's like weaving through. There's 18-wheelers everywhere. And
Oz gets to a point where he can't go forward anymore because he's got 18-wheelers.
He's like, get out of the way. He's screaming at the guy, get out of the way.
Get out of the fucking way. And he's looking in his rear view, and you just see the fucking Batmobile coming in like a great white, just fucking. And so Penguin took matters into his own hand and slams on his brakes, right? And causes the 18-wheeler, or he slams the first truck, and it goes into an 18-wheeler. And then the next 18-wheeler, it just causes a clusterfuck of like a traffic accident.
That
happens behind him somehow because the Penguin was like behind that.
It makes sense when you watch it. Yeah. It's hard for us to explain it, but basically he ends up trapping the Batmobile between all these like giant 18-wheelers with like tankers.
Yeah.
And so Batman's like weaving through it. He's cutting through, and
he just
sees,
fucking
like,
steps on it. And
and he flips. He basically turns on the NOS.
He hits the NOS. He does it for family.
Yeah, he does it for family. He just like it just perfectly lines up.
That was kind of cheesy, but
right before the 18-wheelers like slam into each other and explode. One of the 18-wheelers was like a car hauler and has like the trailer on the back, and it just perfectly lines up, hits the NOS, jumps on it. The big explosion happens. This is all in the like second trailer.
Yeah.
And the Penguin's like, I got you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like through the flames, the Batmobile comes down, lands, and since he's still hitting the NOS, it fucking just slams into the Penguin's car, which makes me think,
how did that man survive that?
But why didn't he just hit the NOS at the beginning? He could have just caught the Penguin and hit him. But whatever, he's like, he needed...
We would have had a good action.
Batman needed the car chase.
Yeah, he needed to cause property damage, so...
Yeah, which is in the comic... The White Knight.
White Knight shit.
It's, so...
Property reforms and making millions off of the Batman's property damage.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so then he crashes into the back of the Penguin, and then I like how just the Batmobile breaks, and then like a split second later, you see Oz's car just fucking tumble, and somehow he survived that with just like a scratch on his face or something.
He's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's perfectly fine.
He's flipped over. He's watching Batman. It's upside down.
One of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing, just walking as he normally does.
He gets out of the Batmobile and he just walks in the rain as there's fire behind him, and he just looks like Michael Myers walking.
Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit does such an incredible job with Batman's face because he like leans down into it and he's just like.
Oh yeah, so he makes like this fucking long ass walk to the Penguin's busted up car, and the Penguin's witnessing this all upside down, and then he just like walks up to it.
Yeah, he just like leans down and just like looks in.
So Amber thought that was funny, but I was like, that shit looks cool. It looks creepy. It looks spooky kind of.
Robert Pattinson's Batman, like especially. We'll get to it, but when the Riddler's talking to him in Arkham, that his like face portrayals in those scenes, it's like, Robert Pattinson did a really fantastic job. He's a really good Batman. So we then cut to Gordon and Batman have the Penguin tied up,
interrogating
him, telling him,
the rat.
Basically telling him like, you're the rat.
Yeah, you're the rat.
This is what you're doing. They made up this like story. This like very believable story why the Penguin would be the rat, and the Penguin's like
tying back to the Riddler's riddles.
Yeah, and the Batman's like, they're like, who's the Riddler? Basically, they're like, we caught the rat. The rat should lead us to the Riddler.
Yeah, you're the Rata-Lata. That's what Gordon's saying. And then
he's
another comedic aspect.
He's like, URL Rata-Lata, and he's like. That's not. Have you not ever read like Spanish? He's like, it's never.
Am I the only one that knows Spanish here?
Yeah, he's like
the difference between El and La.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be El Rata.
Yeah,
it'd
be La Rata.
Yeah, La Rata. So
and then Batman starts thinking, he's like
URL. So he's like, it's a website. Yeah, and so he types in the website,
and it's a direct link to
Rata. Yeah, it's a direct link to the Riddler. And he can talk to it. And you can actually access that if you didn't know.
And you can solve riddles and you can get like cool screenshots from the movie.
So you can talk to the Riddler on there if you want to. Also, actually, I don't know if you heard this, but they put a countdown on this website right now. There's a countdown.
As of right now?
As of right now.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's a countdown on Rata-Lata.com.
That'd be cool.
Countdown to something. I don't know what it is.
What if it's counting down to the premiere of the HBO show?
Maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
So, yeah, they don't know what it's for. I think I saw IGN had it posted.
I might have to look into it. Okay, so then they figure out...
He's talking to the Riddler, and the Riddler's like, did you find him? And Batman literally just puts, maybe, is the Penguin... is a penguin or rat with wings, and he's like, interesting, you're missing the big picture. And he's like, I need to give you one more clue.
And he tells him a riddle.
Yeah, he tells him a riddle.
Which leads him back to...
But he says, the next one's going to be the biggest one yet. The biggest one in the case.
Yeah.
And so then...
one of the bigger...
He gives him a riddle. Batman solves the riddle. It's an orphan.
The answer's orphan.
And Riddler just types in goodbye and basically shuts it down. And then they just leave the Penguin tied up.
That was funny. I love that.
And he's kind of
gonna
like...
leave me tied up here.
Yeah, he's just kind of waddling. tied up. Tabby was laughing. She's like, "Oh, they made him look like an actual penguin." I was like, "Yeah, they did."
He does. He limps. He has his limp. Mm-hmm. And so they go to the orphanage. Gordon and Batman go to the orphanage.
Yeah. So Batman and Gordon put it together. This is what I was talking about with the horror, because they're walking through it. And then all of a sudden they see a guy peek out and run.
And it was just like a sharp...
It's a sharp, like, hissing noise, and it's supposed to be, like, scary. And they come around the corner, and...
It's a bunch of drop heads.
It's a bunch of drug addicts sitting at the orphanage, just taking shelter there.
Yeah.
And they end up, like, turning the corner. They hear the music going off, and some, like, clapping. And obviously something's being shown on, like, a projector. In another room, and it says, like... No more lies, or it says it says this is where it all started.
Yeah.
In green paint, so obviously it's the Riddler.
They go in, and it's an ad campaign
for Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne, running for mayor in 2001.
So 2001 is when they died, and what happened in 2001?
Shrek came out. So they took Bruce Wayne to watch Shrek and got shot. Dead.
Full circle. After watching Shrek, the Riddler screen. All
it's together. It's never over.
Yeah. So. Okay, so it's an ad campaign. Thomas Wayne talking about what? Talking about reform.
Talking about the renewal.
Oh, the renewal, yeah.
Fund. Yeah, talking about pledging $1 billion to Gotham City for things like this, like the orphanage, that would go back into the city and basically help the lower end catch up. He doesn't want anybody to struggle in Gotham, basically.
That obviously didn't get...
And so Batman's watching it. Batman also sees in the corner, in green, it's written, Sins of the Father.
Yeah.
Which the whole verse is, the sins of the Father are... I can't remember what it is. Something will be like sown upon the Son or something like that.
Right.
And so before Gordon puts it together and he's like, oh shit, his next target is Bruce Wayne. And before he can even like finish his sentence, Batman's gone.
He's gone.
Batman's driving.
That was a cool Batman moment where he just disappeared.
Yeah, So it cuts to Batman in the Batmobile, just fucking hustling down the highway. Yeah, and he's calling Wayne Manor, and or Wayne Tower.
Wayne Tower, yeah.
And so the phone's ringing, and it cuts to Alfred opening some mail, and he gets a package, and it's in the Riddler's handwriting. It says, "For Bruce Wayne's eyes only," and so Alfred opens it up, and on it he has this little package,
fireproof package.
It says like "to the Batman" on it, and it says, he turns it over, it says fireproof, and all the while the phone's ringing this whole time. It's getting tense, music's playing, he flips it over, there's a light flashing, and it cuts to
the maid, and Bruce is like, in Batman tired fucking hauling full speed to Wayne Tower, he's like, I think something bad's gonna happen, and the maid's like, I'm sorry, Master Bruce, but something has already happened.
Yeah, something bad already happened. She's like, I've been trying to call you.
Yeah.
And it cuts to Wayne Tower on fire, the firefighters coming upstairs, and it shows Alfred throw the package, but the explosion happens.
Yeah.
Alfred's hit. Bruce is hurt. It shows him going to the hospital.
For a moment, I honestly thought he was.
They were gonna kill him off right there.
I was like, damn, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Those were some high stakes right there, and I was like, yeah, it hurts my heart, but I respect it. Mm-hmm. Luckily, he was okay.
Yeah, so
I think the very next scene, it cuts
to him in the hospital.
And
them asking, basically, if there's any like next line of kin who needs to be notified. And Bruce Wayne's like, oh shit, it's only me. Like, I'm his family.
That's it. Know? That's all I got. That's all
he's got. He really had to realize this is where that art comes in.
Yeah.
That Alfred is his father.
Although he treats him a little bit like a piece of shit later, but whatever.
But yeah, we'll come to that. So then,
damn, what's
that? Yeah, what's after that? Oh yeah, so they're like, Selena. He goes back to the thing, and Selena's like,
that's where the message is like.
She's like, I need to talk to you. Basically, after their little like, shit went down, he almost like lost the penguin because of her. So they meet on the roof by the bat signal. they have like a little confrontation basically,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to come to terms. He's like, he was like, you were literally working there only for the hit, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up coming out that Carmine Falcone is Selena's father.
Selena Kyle's father. Yeah.
Because Batman starts pressing her about everything. He starts like, you know, if we're gonna be partners, basically, we need to.
He was assuming that she
out.
was she had been in a former relationship with him.
Yeah, he needed to know.
And then she was talking about the money and how that money is owed to her by Falcone, and he's like, why?
Yeah, why would
Because he's
that
my
be?
father.
Mm-hmm.
He's my father.
So we get basically they figure out that she's like, we need to kill Officer Kinsey. That bastard has the dead body in the car that he's gonna pay. And Batman's like, all right, if you're gonna do this, we need to be like 50-50 partners. We need to know about everything. And she's like, no,
We
I
need
can
to share information.
I can handle myself. She gives him a little kiss, and she just kind of takes off.
Right.
And Gordon comes up. Oh, Catwoman kind of mentioned, she's like, have you not seen, like, obviously the Waynes are involved in this now. The Riddler's coming after them. And he's like,
Yeah, they have a
the
big part to
Waynes.
play, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, have you not seen it? And basically it cuts to a little, like, defamation ad about, it shows that same little, like, he was running for mayor, the ad campaign, but then he's like,
I approve this message.
yeah, and so then it shows like the Riddler's voiceover on it, and he's like, the Waynes and the Arkhams built this city, but they did all this shit. They're not who you really think they are. They paid Carmine Falcone to kill this guy,
Right.
Elliot. What's up?
Is this still recording?
It should be.
We've been talking about 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Damn.
This is gonna be as long as Batman.
Yeah.
So we're going scene for scene right now.
Yeah.
So,
We'll try to speed it up. We'll see.
okay, we'll speed up. Blah blah. Makes a reference to Hush Elliot. Literally puts the words hush.
That's just by saying hush, though. Not.
But yeah,
else.
but he was trying to say like hush, trying to hush him.
Yeah,
and,
that was the only. But that was a cool reference.
Mhm.
Thomas Elliot, which was another doctor too, or his father was a doctor with Bruce or Thomas Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
But
so that
cool
comes
reference.
out. So then Gotham's kind of like, you know, Riddler's like, Bruce, you need to pay for the sins of your father.
Right.
And
Obviously, intended target was Bruce Wayne.
mhm.
And then we cut to after we see that ad campaign. Of course, this is after Batman got back to the Batcave. Now I'm trying to fast forward without getting too ahead of ourselves.
Catwoman grabs Kinsey.
That's right. Catwoman grabs Kinsey, brings him back.
We see the bat signal.
Oh no, we have a conversation between Alfred and Bruce. And Bruce was like, this is when Alfred wakes up, and Bruce is like, you lied to me.
Alfred wakes up and smiles at him.
He
He's
smiles
happy.
like-
He's happy to see him, and Bruce is like, you fucking bastard.
You
You've
fucking
been lying
lied
to me my whole
you
life.
motherfucker.
Yeah, but no,
And then-
that's not until...
No, that's right, and because then they have a resolution.
No. That's not until after he goes and talks to Carmine.
Oh no, not yet. Oh yeah, that's true.
He talks to him because Carmine tells him the lie that Maroni killed the parents.
Oh, that's right. Because when he goes back to the cave, we're getting so scrambled.
He goes...
When he's in the cave and he sees that ad campaign again, it's the Riddler put out another video, and he's saying, "This is what's going on. The hush, whatever." Thomas Wayne got Falcone to have somebody that had some dirt on his wife killed, and so that's when Bruce Wayne goes and talks to Falcone and confronts him about it.
Yeah, he goes and asks him. He's like, "What? Basically, what happened?" He shows up to Iceberg Lounge. He's like, same exact words, same exact scene as when he showed up as Batman.
This time, Tweedledee and Tweedledum have fucking bruised.
They got beat the fuck up. The guy's like, opens the door. He's like, "You know who I am?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he shuts the door and he brings the brother out. And he's like, "See, I told you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm here to see Falcone." And so they take him down to see Falcone. Obviously a lot less violent than the first time he went. And
this is using Bruce Wayne. He's using his Bruce Wayne to get information. He knows he can't get it
as Batman. So Carmine, especially after speaking to him at the funeral, he feels pretty open, and he has obviously Carmine has
a connection with Bruce Wayne due to his father saving his life.
But so then he's basically been planning that Bruce is going to come talk to him.
Yeah, he's had the speech ready for a long time.
Yeah. So he tells him basically, your father helped me out. If you ever need anything, I'm here for you. And that I believe, he's like, I can't prove it, but I believe Maroni put a hit on your dad. He died that night. He didn't want him in my pocket. Blah blah. I didn't want to.
Yeah. After Thomas Wayne got Falcone, it killed.
But he told him it was true that Thomas Wayne did ask Carmine to
rough him up,
to silence, silence that guy by whatever Carmine tells it differently. Obviously, who he asked, but he said by any means necessary, which is not the case. So Bruce goes to Alfred. Alfred wakes up. He's like, hey, happy to see him. And Bruce Wayne's like, you motherfucker.
You lied to me
about my parents. I didn't know. He's like,
I talked to Falcone. He told me about how my dad got...
He asked him to
kill this guy that had dirt on my mother.
And Alfred's like, whoa. He did not. He's like, he did ask. He's like, he made a mistake. He did ask him for a favor.
A moment of weakness, he went and asked.
He's like, but it wasn't for his political standing. He did it for your mother.
Just to protect your reputation.
Protect your mother, and he regretted it. And he didn't
ask to kill him.
He didn't want him. He didn't want him killed.
He just wanted him to rough him up. And
he said whenever he was going to go to the police, that was the night that Thomas and Martha were murdered.
Yeah, so Falcone, when Bruce went, Falcone was trying to pin it on Maroni.
But then Alfred was
clarified.
It looks, I mean, from every outcome I could have, he basically said, I'm not 100% sure, it wouldn't last in court, but Falcone had your parents killed, basically.
Yeah.
And so Bruce kind of takes that knowledge.
Yeah.
He's
keeps it in the back of his mind, yeah.
Now he's kind of like, oh shit, maybe everything's not as it seems.
Right.
And that's when we get...
that's when he sees the bat signal outside.
Yes.
And he's like, oh shit, let me go.
Yeah, so he goes, and him and Gordon pull up at the same time, and they're both like,
what the fuck?
I thought you called it. You called it.
Yeah.
So they go up. Catwoman's got Kinsey beating the fuck out of him.
Beating the shit.
She's got him tied up on the roof. She's like, I found my phone in his car.
Yeah.
And the phone has a recording of Carmine Falcone.
So that was the phone at the very beginning when they went back to the apartment. And she was like, I can't find my phone. There's the phone.
There it is.
There's the phone. McKinsey.
There's the phone. It had a recorded call from the Russian woman
to Falcone.
No, to Selena Kyle. But Falcone's in it.
Oh yeah, the calls to Selena. Yeah.
You can hear Carmine Falcone's voice clear as day, and he just kind of like indicts himself on every
he's like, what information have you shared, pretty much? And she obviously said all the information that she shared, and obviously got her in trouble. And Falcone just strangled the shit out of her.
You can hear Carmine Falcone strangle her in the video on the call, and so Selena's like, all right, let's kill Kinsey, let's go kill Falcone, and Batman's like, no, can't do that, we'll get him. And so basically they get into like a little tussle of how they're going to do it.
Selena pushes Kinsey off to distract Batman. And
she's going after Falcone.
Yeah. And
so then Batman's like, oh shit, I got to go.
Yeah.
And Gordon's like, all right, let's go together. And he's like, no, run that, take that to the news, start cycling it. I got a plan, basically.
Right.
And so then it cuts to Selena Kyle coming in. She's gonna go talk to Carmine Falcone.
Pulls up to the club, yeah.
Yeah.
With a gun
in her purse.
Reminiscent of Batman Begins, when Bruce Wayne pulled up to the little diner club area with Falcone, and he also had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Parallels right there.
And so then what was I going to say?
She pulls up. She wants to talk.
Yeah, she's crying. She wants to talk about the girl. And so they're talking, and all the while Batman shows up. He knocks on the door.
Yeah,
they
Bruce
open it.
Rushes to the club because he knows where she's going.
He's actually as the Drifter at this point.
He's in the Drifter outfit.
He knocks on the door. Nobody's there. He kind of like, the guys go outside, and then he goes behind him and shuts the door on him. And he runs down to like a little electrical room, beats up some fucking guard that chases him.
He punches him like twice and knocks his ass out.
Yeah, he hits hard.
Like,
and so then
Then he gets like a fucking saw blade out.
And he starts sawing this like electrical to shut down the power to the building. And all the while this is going on, Selena's talking to Carmine. Then right before the power shuts off, it goes live that like Carmine Falcone's basically the police are coming for him. Mm-hmm. The news starts cycling that message, and Catwoman's ready to kill him. She pulls a gun. She's like, "Hey, Dad, it's me." And he turns around, and he's like, "Whoa, you don't have to do it." She shoots, misses. The power goes out. Everything goes black. Batman with the like cinematography. He's fucking shaded in red. Shoots his grappling hook up the elevator shaft. Yeah. He goes up the elevator. Elevator door opens. It's just fucking pitch black, and the guys like shine a light
with their phone. They're just like shining.
Nothing's there.
The elevator opens. Nobody's in the elevator, and they get closer to the elevator, and they shine the light up.
And Batman's almost reminiscent of Batman versus Superman, like where he's on the wall.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that. They start shooting at him. The only light you see is the light from the gunfire. Him beating the shit out of him.
Dude, how awesome would that scene have been if you had never seen it?
Yeah, that scene would have been better if it wouldn't have been shown in the trailer. That scene was badass nonetheless.
But we had already seen it. So
yeah, exactly. Really and the car chase, like him coming out of the fire, that would have been badass without it.
Yeah.
So
he pretty much, Batman walks down this hallway and he's just taking all these gunshots and he's just like beating the fuck out of these guys, and the only light you see are the glimpses of when they shoot the gun.
At this point, Falcone has gotten the better hand of Selena Kyle.
He's choking the shit out of her.
He hits her with a pull cue and knocks her on the ground, and then he gets down on his knees. He's telling her, "You did this to yourself. Basically, you made me do this." And
he's like, "My own flesh and blood. Do you think I want to do this?"
Yeah, he's choking her out. And then Batman comes up right before Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz looks like she's about to fucking just be gone. He grabs him, hits him. Oh, during that scene, little reminiscent of Long Halloween, she fucking scratches him. He's got.
I thought he already had scratches on his face.
He already did, but this kind of made it like that. So that was like a reference to Long Halloween. Basically, Batman cuffs him. Zoe Kravitz tries to shoot him still, but he talks her out of it. Basically tells her, he's already taken so much from you. Don't let him take this. Take that from you.
Brings him down to Gordon.
Brings him out to Gordon.
Falcone's like, who are you, fucking Zorro or something?
He's like,
which is
Zorro.
The movie.
Yeah, Batman wouldn't watch. Yeah, so reference to Zorro there. But he's like, "Don't you know I have all you boys in blue in my pocket?" And they open the door. There's just this bright fucking light. All these cops. He's like, "I guess."
You don't have all of us in your pocket.
Yeah, and so they bring him out, and then
they go down some steps. They're underneath the street lamp, and the Penguin walks out.
Yeah, we get basically the origin story of the Penguin here. He's like,
"Oh, you're gonna ride in Blackgate, Falcone," and then Falcone's like, "Oh, you feeling like a big guy, don't you?"
Yeah, he's like, "You're a real big man now, huh?"
Yeah, now you got a little bit of power. You feel like a big man, and he's like, "I'll show you power." And he was about to shoot him.
He said that he's like, "I'm about to paint
your ass or something."
Yeah, he's like, "Or I'm about to turn you to spray paint or something," and.
As he's pulling his gun,
a bullet goes off. A gunshot goes off.
We don't see who shot first.
Falcone goes down. The police rush Penguin. He's like, I never shot.
Batman's on top of Falcone, like over his dead body, and he's sitting there realizing.
He looks up.
And he looks up at the street lamp.
It's a light. He brought the rat into the light.
Where it goes back to the riddle from the beginning of the movie.
He looks up where it says, "Bring the rat to the light, and you'll find me. You'll find where I'm at." And
he looks up into a window,
and there's a Riddler
with the rifle, and he runs away.
He runs out. They go up there. Batman fucking hooks.
That was a cool scene where he hooks through that window,
and it grabs the like heater.
The door open. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of cool.
Comes up. They get into basically the Riddler's base.
Apparently, the Riddler's base was always across the Iceberg Lounge. This whole time.
It's been right there. He's been watching. He's been in there the whole time.
Because if you think about it, that's where he took those pictures from. Mm-hmm. Coming out of the Iceberg Lounge, the mayor.
Yeah, all of those pictures of
he's taking it from there.
Yeah, it all ties in. They never went. He never went and looked where those pictures were taken.
I saw a breakdown video of where you actually see the Riddler 30 minutes into the movie. There's a frame coming into the Iceberg Lounge, and it's the window where he is,
and
it's the silhouette of the Riddler.
Really?
And nobody blows right past everybody.
Wow,
because it's very,
I never noticed that.
It's like very off to the side, and it's very small, but you can see the silhouette.
That's cool.
It's like that's the Riddler. 30 minutes. I'll send you the video.
So we get that. We get.
So he's gone. The Riddler escaped. The Riddler escaped.
All of a sudden, the cops are cool with Batman now too.
Yeah,
after he escaped GCPD, they're chill with him because he brought Carmine Falcone out basically. So they're cool. They don't really delve into that too much. They're just cool with each other now.
Yeah, they gloss over.
They start looking at everything. Batman starts like pulling a book that says renewal fund on it. The Riddler has so many ciphers, scribbles. He's got like his mask in there. He's got everything you could think of.
All the torture devices.
All the torture devices are sitting there.
Yeah. It was, and then like a cop comes in.
A cage full of rats in there, and he's got a cage with a bat in it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And Batman goes up to, he's looking at it, and the bat just starts fucking like screaming, and Gordon's like, that rat doesn't like you. He's like, this one's not a rat. And they go over, and Batman...
Which hints more to the fact that it was like, oh man, Riddler knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
And because some of the posters are saying, I know the real you.
Yeah.
Which...
Like some of the stuff on the Riddler's wall in his apartment.
It says Bruce Wayne. It says, who is the Batman? Blah, blah. I know...
Pictures
he says,
of
I know
Riddler
you.
When he's a kid.
And then he says, I know the real you. Yeah, and Riddler's looking at Bruce Wayne when they were a kid. And so...
Man.
But...
What a cloak and shadow dagger type thing there. That was really good.
And so they get like a little thing that says... Oh, before that. Batman reaches into the Batcage, grabs a letter...
To the Batman again.
Yeah, and it says... Well, the letter to Bruce Wayne said, see you in hell.
Yeah.
We should say that. So this one says... my confession or something like that. And then they get...
That's right. We glossed over that.
Yeah, but this is...
The fireproof thing that Alfred had.
Yeah,
that one.
That had a note to the Batman that said...
No, to Bruce Wayne that said, see you in hell. Remember?
Not Bruce Wayne. It said that one was to the Batman. And it said, see
the
you
one
in
that
hell.
Alfred opened was for Bruce Wayne's eyes only.
That was just a bomb. But the actual present had to the Batman on it. And
right.
it was was the letter. So, we did gloss over that. So, he says my confession... But they end up getting a call. They're like, lady saw this guy jump down the fire escape and go to this corner shop. He's still there. And he's sitting in there. And it's very reminiscent of the Joker getting caught in The Dark Knight. But the Riddler comes in. And some of his facial features are real creepy when he gets fucking taken down. But he drew a little circle. He tells him he just ordered a slice of pumpkin pie. They put his like head on there.
Yeah.
They pull up two IDs. They're like, "Which one are you?"
I love
He's
the
like,
aesthetics of the diner.
Yeah, me too. He's
so
like
50s.
And Batman like walks up through the black, and he's just looking at him through the mirror. And Riddler's like,
smiling,
smiling on him while his head's like on the fucking thing. So, he smiles at him. They pull out the ID. They're like, "Which one are you?" And he's like, "You tell me." And he starts laughing.
He's got two fucking IDs.
Yeah. I tried to see something. It was something Parker.
Yeah, I didn't even read the names.
It was something Parker, and it was Edward Nashton.
Yeah.
Which I guess is another alias he uses because his real name's Edward Nygma, right? Well. Yeah. So I think he uses Nashton sometimes too in the comics. But
anyway, so they take him to Arkham.
To Arkham. And then they go back through the thing, and that's actually when they find the letter that says my confession. Then they get a phone call, and they're like, Riddler wants to talk to you. And Batman
so they get the phone call when Batman's looking at the wall, and he's like, I know the real you. Mm-hmm. I know who you really are, or whatever. And it's the picture of Riddler as a kid looking at Bruce Wayne and all this shit. And Batman's starting to put it together like, this can be the end. I think he knows my identity.
Yeah, this could
and
be
he's like, what, the end of what? He's like, the end of the Batman, which is the first time they said the Batman in the movie, which was crazy.
No, actually, Alfred says it.
Oh, yeah. The Batman's getting famous or something like that. That's right. That's right. But
anyway,
so he thought he was about to get exposed. And the way Gordon answers the phone call and looks at Batman, it almost hints at like...
He knows you're Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He knows... He just
like almost like Gordon knows that you're Bruce Wayne or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, and so then he goes to Arkham and has this conversation with the Riddler.
Yeah, so then he has this conversation. And the Riddler's kind of like, oh man, like, almost kind of like we did it. Like, we did it together. But then he starts saying Bruce to him, and you see like fucking Batman's like it just shows like during the Riddler's like monologue, his like evil villain monologue talking. He also tells him, he's like, I told you I'd see you in hell, and he puts his like arms up.
Yeah.
And which ties to that note.
Yeah.
But he's like saying like Bruce Wayne,
and
like,
well, he also said Bruce Wayne's the only one we didn't kill.
He's,
but
that's after the monologue. That's when, so he's ready for him to say, I know you're Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But he's like, we didn't get that bastard, that fucker.
Yeah,
and,
well, he kept saying Bruce
and then,
Wayne.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. And then, like, Batman's just like, he almost like he accepted defeat. Like, fuck, he knows.
He's like, he knows. He figured it out.
He knows who I am.
But
and then right after that, he's
once he figures it out, once he figures out that the Riddler doesn't know.
Yeah.
Then he kind of gets on the offensive of the conversation, and he's like, I'm not a part of your games. He's like, I'm not your partner, and he's like, what? Yeah. And he's like, I've never been playing along. You're alone in this. Like.
And so the whole Riddler's concept was that they're both committing acts of vengeance, but the Riddler's committing them in this gruesome way of killing politicians and all these. Well, and Batman's beating the fuck out of these.
The Riddler was basically the brains, and the Batman was the muscle.
Yeah. And
he's like, we're a perfect duo for each other. He's like, we're both smart. You've got the physical gifts. I've got the mental like planning gifts. Right. He's like, we're a great team, and now we can just sit back and watch it burn. And Batman's like, he's like, no,
I'm not a part of this. I'm not a part of your
game. I'm not. He's like, you're out of your goddamn mind. You're a lunatic. And he's like, he starts doing like, I feel like that's very Riddler whenever he's like, no. Like whenever he figures out that Batman isn't like, or whenever Batman like.
He's not being fooled by him.
Yeah.
Like he's not falling into
He's like, this isn't the way it's supposed to go. And he kind of like becomes unhinged a little bit.
Yeah.
And then.
Some mental instability.
Sure. Batman's like, what have you done? He's like, watch what? And he's like,
Oh, yeah, because Riddler's like, we were supposed to be in here together and watch it all happen.
Safe. And he's like, what are you talking about? And that's the only reason the Riddler wanted to get caught is because he knew that Arkham was off of Gotham and it wouldn't get flooded. Mm-hmm. So he's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, it was all right there. Like, I thought you'd figure it out. He's like, I thought you were coming to basically celebrate with me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. So he goes back. He
goes back to Riddler's apartment.
And he grabs the murder weapon, the original murder weapon.
The carpet tucker.
Yeah, and guess who's there?
The rat. The rat.
Yeah, Ramirez is there, guarding this crime scene.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
And he comes in there, and he's like, he makes some mention that it's a carpenting tool. And that his like uncle's a carpenter, and so Batman's like puts two and two together. Yeah, that was a cool rock eyebrow you threw in. And so he peels back some carpet, and he ends up finding a map of Gotham City with flashing lights, and it says a real change in there. And so they had found on the computer a like password protected video about the Riddler. And so Batman types in a real change, and it pops up, and he's like, "Hey guys!"
Yeah, it's so
he does
goofy,
like the YouTube like
Twitch streamer type.
He's like, "Thanks for giving me some info about some detonators and stuff." And Ramirez was like, "Detonators?"
And dude, I would try to read all those comments, and they were like,
the
mask is at the Army Surplus.
Gotham Army Surplus, and. Which is cool because you cosplayed and you actually went to like an Army Surplus.
I didn't get that mask from there though.
But you got your like jacket and stuff.
I got everything else from there.
But they're like,
so the Riddler was talking to unhinged people, pretty much, or people that believed
in his cause. People that believe in his cause.
The people that were rioting outside the funeral.
It shows you how dangerous like a cause can become, like an agenda.
Yeah.
And people blindly following it.
Yeah.
And so
he was talking to those people, and it wasn't that many people. It was like about 500, I think.
Said 500,
yeah. Which there were not 500 in that at
the end scene. But Batman figures out, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Riddler has a plan, which is from the comic Zero Year.
Yep.
Where he blows up sections of the seawall and floods Gotham City.
Yep.
And so it happens. It happens in this movie. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought he was going to stop
awesome. It was straight out of that book. That's straight out of that book.
He fucking blew him up, and he's sitting there in Arkham watching him, and he just goes, boom, boom.
Yeah.
and these explosions are going off, and you
And the
see
seawalls break.
And while you're watching it, the Riddler's kind of like doing his talk, his little like, this is what's going to happen, and you're going to come in, and it starts showing. They're like, basically everybody they can get is going to go to this place for evacuation, for safety.
The safe haven is going to be Gotham City Square or whatever. It's like Madison Times Square, but it was like Gotham Times Square.
Yeah, it's Gotham City Garden or Madison Garden or something.
And so that's their shelter, and he knew that they were going to go there.
Yeah.
And at this time, they're announcing the new mayor.
Yeah, they're having like the speech for the new mayor, and he's like, go kill her.
Yeah,
and
so in the comments, it's like, what caliber, what gun,
any rifles,
yeah,
it works, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So then you see all these people cosplaying as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Basically, the Riddler's followers, which you get a lot of in like the Arkham series. Every kind of big mob boss or whatever has their own followers.
Yeah, like the Two-Face gang or the Penguin gang.
Yeah, they dress up like it. So basically, the Riddler has his own set, his own gang.
Yeah.
Go in, infiltrate the Gotham City Square.
And they get in the scaffolding.
They get on the rafters.
On the rafters things.
On the like scoreboard and stuff. On this like screens.
And people are swarming into the stadium.
They can't see them. They're up there. It shows them like loading up the rifles and everything. And the Batman
it's like a bunch of them.
out.
It's like 20 or 30 of them at least, or maybe not that many, but there's quite a few up there.
And so Jim Gordon like comes in. He's like, "Who's running this shit?" And they're like, "I don't know." And he's like, "We got to get the mayor like out of here.
We got to get her flown out of here.
Yeah, we got to get her out. God, we're under attack, basically."
Yeah. And the mayor's like, "No, we got to get these people under control."
Yeah, she's like, "This is the problem with it. Like,
people don't want to stand their ground or whatever."
Yeah, everybody. Whenever the city shows its like kind of evil head, we turn and flee or whatever. So
she takes authority. She goes out into the stage while people are panicking, and she's like, "Hey, if I can get everybody's attention," and then she looks up to the fucking scoreboard, and
like
there's
8
two guys.
There's like 8 Riddlers.
Yeah, they're just like
rifles and
thump, just boom. She gets shot. Somehow she miraculously survived.
Yeah, she gets shot. It looks almost kind of like in the side.
Yeah, but then she's fine at the end.
So
so then she gets shot. Gordon goes out there, rushes, pulls her back into safety, and he pulls his gun out, and he's like looking up to the rafters or whatever,
and
he's
you
looking,
just start seeing all these fucking
you're seeing the rafters and like the glass roof of this.
This is the best part of the movie.
This was good.
Yeah,
I
this
love
was the
this
best part of the movie.
And everything, like this glass ceiling blows up all the way around, and Batman just fucking comes down, shoots double fucking grappling hooks into 2 guys, jumps off, and pulls the guys off the scoreboard. He swings back, lands on the fucking thing. He's running. Guys are shooting at him. He's like fucking covering himself up, running around, fucking kicking guys off. Oh, all the guys like strap themselves to like just like
to the hangers, to the
So if they fell off, they wouldn't die. Or
they wouldn't fall down onto the people.
So Batman's like punching the fuck out of them and like kicking them off so they can lose their balance.
He would let like one of them like shoot a rifle, and he'd like dodge it, and it would hit the guy behind him.
I think he shot somebody.
Yeah, he shot.
One of them got shot. Like he grabbed his rifle and shot like another guy, and that guy's dead.
Yeah, Batman killed the guy.
That guy is dead. I can't confirm this guy
killed the guy.
Because after he fell, he was just like hanging.
Yeah, he was.
And the other ones were like squirming around. So that was a really cool fight scene. He's taking him out in the fucking rafters, and then
one shoots at him and he dodges it, but it hits the wire, and it drops the like screen, the scoreboard down, and they all kind of fall off.
Because they were all fighting on top of the scoreboard, and then the scoreboard falls, and they all roll off, and then Batman's hanging off.
Batman's hanging off, and we see Selena Kyle is in there, and she's like, "Oh shit!" And Gordon's like, "Hey, hey!" He's screaming. He's like, "How do I get up there?
How the fuck do I get up there?
Yeah, how do I get up there? I gotta go help."
Yeah.
And so the firefighters start like taking Gordon off. We see Catwoman kind of disappear. Batman's like in the fight of his life, hanging off.
The guys are shooting at him while he's hanging on this fucking
He notices there's like a fucking
fire extinguisher
sitting up there. So he like blows it up.
He puts like a little
smokes
bomb,
it. Yeah,
and blows up.
Smokes it out. He basically starts fighting him through the extinguisher, and he rolls up on one guy. And
it was cool when it first smoked. It was like they couldn't see shit, and then he just jumps out of the smoke and tackles a guy and beats him up, and then goes to the next couple guys.
And he gets to like the last guy on this line of people, and for some reason Batman can survive a neck bomb explosion, but he gets shot by a double barrel shotgun. right in the chest.
I got that bird
and
shot
it just
in there.
it just hit him and it knocks him off.
And
he's barely hanging off.
And he's like,
yeah, he's breathing hard. He's hurt.
I think it just knocked the air out of him, maybe. Or
yeah,
something.
Batman's not feeling good, and so he's like,
who was it?
It is Cade.
God damn it, Cade.
And so
he's hanging
off,
on the.
And the Riddler guy, he like pops the shells out. He reloads, puts them back in. He's like slowly walking.
He's like, I think I just got the Batman. I'm about to finish.
Yeah. This is it. He's got a fucking double barrel up there for some reason.
On his face.
Yeah, he's about to put it, and Batman just fucking staring at him.
And he's like,
yeah, Catwoman comes out of nowhere,
drops down and fucking
hits him, knocks him out, whatever,
and pulls
Batman up, and Batman's laying there. So Catwoman gives him a kiss. It's gonna be over. He saved the day, and then out of nowhere, fucking Catwoman. There's one last Riddler guy.
I think it was the same guy. I think she just had kicked him and kicked him off.
No, it wasn't. It was because it was the guy. We end up.
That's right.
It was the guy from
the church scene.
You know what? Honestly, the guy with the double barrel shotgun kind of looked like you and your thing.
Like,
he did have the brown eyes and
eyebrows.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so then Catwoman is like telling Batman it's gonna be okay. Batman's like looks like he's about to fucking die.
Yeah.
And he's like about to go out of
They're giving him the Tony Stark. Yeah, it's okay. You saved the world.
Yeah, he's like about to go unconscious or something, and Catwoman gets drug out from like this other guy, and he's like beating her up, and Batman like realizes it, and he like reaches for one of his pouches and pulls this little green vial, and I'm gonna say it now, it's fucking Titan, and I don't care what anybody says, it's Titan. Dude.
Yeah, so that means
Titan. It has to.
Batman fought Bane at some point in those first 2 years.
Could be, or maybe it was an early Bane.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just, what if it was...
I don't think they're going to do Bane, so I think Matt Reeves, because I think they...
Maybe it's just a reference. It's like Bloodhaven, when Catwoman mentioned Bloodhaven. We're not going to see Bloodhaven, we're not going to see Nightwing, but it's a reference. You know? But I'm saying it's Titan, and I'm waiting for Matt Reeves.
I don't think we're going to see Nightwing, but we may see Dick Grayson.
No, I know. We'll see that, but we won't see Nightwing.
Yeah, no.
But
maybe later on.
Little green vial, fluorescent green.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, it's adrenaline. Don't you know what adrenaline looks like? Dude, I looked this shit up. Adrenaline is either brown or clear.
Mm-hmm.
If Matt Reeves was going to say that's adrenaline, why did he make it green?
It's
fluorescent green.
It's Titan.
And he fucking puts it in his leg, and he just like, what? Like, it's fucking crazy.
He gets the Bane, like how Bane gets.
The Bane rage.
Yeah.
And just fucking pulls the guy off and just
brutally starts beating him, and he wouldn't have stopped unless Gordon comes and grabs him. And even then, he kind of pulled back on Gordon.
Like,
he had to stop.
Dude,
he had to calm him down.
That's rage. That's not even like adrenaline spike. That's rage.
That was like pure, like, you get off my fucking girl.
Yeah,
you're dead.
And so then Gordon pulls the mask off.
Take the mask off of him,
and it's the guy from the church that was talking about how reform didn't help save his daughter.
So he said he was vengeance,
and he was like, "Who are you?"
Which rubs it in Batman's nose. He's going around saying he's vengeance, and he's like, vengeance isn't. This is the arc. This is the arc of Batman.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted.
This is not what he intended. It's getting used against him. Basically, he's
it put Batman in the state of mind that I'm no different from these guys.
He needed to become hope. So Batman basically, the power shuts down, the water rushes in, and Batman kind of jumps down. He slips off. He gets knocked down, but he slips off. He jumps down into the water.
Well, it was like something with electricity was dangling. It was about to electrify all these people. So he like grapples and swings, and then takes his bat emblem and cuts the thing off to cut the power,
and drops into the water. So it's like pitch black. He comes up. He's got a fucking torch on him.
One of the other great cinematic shots.
Yeah, it's red, and he goes and he kind of is like, "Come on, follow your leader out."
He goes and helps some civilians.
He grabs
and
the kid.
At first they were hesitant.
The kid and the mayor.
At first they were hesitant, and the kid finally went and got, and then the other people were like, "Oh, that kid's trust him, so we'll trust him too."
Yeah,
and then he let everybody out of the stadium.
He let everybody out. He started leading like people out, and he kind of showed like, all right, the Batman's not this like cold vengeance that people should be afraid of. He's like, I need to show compassion. I need to show the city hope.
Yeah.
And so he becomes, instead of vengeance, Batman becomes hope.
Yeah.
And that's his arc in this movie, and it's so good.
It's so good.
It's told so great.
Yeah.
Also, this movie has a lot of, because the movie could have ended right there, right?
Yeah.
The movie has like 5 endings in it.
Yeah.
At the end, like, and it's almost like a comic book where it starts wrapping like loose ends up. It basically shows like Catwoman leaving town.
That's the very end. So
that
first
it
shows Riddler in Arkham, and he's upset.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's just gonna piss me off.
Yeah, so
he was pissed. So it shows Riddler in Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
He's upset that his plan didn't work out, or it kind of worked, right? And he was a little disappointed he's more disappointed that Batman's not on his side. I think
he's disappointed, and he's disappointed that he didn't get the full satisfaction of watching Gotham just kind of burn to the ground, because he flooded that, and he was supposed to get like the Riddler, basically people and that to take over, but instead Batman became hope. Batman became, the symbol instead of the Riddler.
So Riddler's in his cell,
he's
getting
freaking
pissed,
out,
punching the wall, whatever.
He's saying no, he's crying, he's kind of wailing.
And then you hear a voice.
Yeah, you hear a voice. And
I don't remember the exact dialogue, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, hey,
he's okay. He's like, don't be hard on yourself. He's like,
you did
hey,
good.
Yeah, he's like, you did well.
Yeah.
Gotham loves a comeback story.
Yeah.
And then he's like, riddle me this. What if
the less you have, the more you value.
The more it's worth.
Yeah, the more.
And the Riddler's like, a friend.
And it cuts to the cell next door.
And it's the guy from Eternals.
Druig the Eternals.
Yeah, Druig from the Eternals. He's in the cell.
And he
looks very similar
he looks
to
fucked up. He almost looked like Two-Face.
A lot of people, I heard people after saying, was that Two-Face? I was like, no, obviously that was the Joker.
He looked like Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face.
Yeah, kind of. They did the hair kind of spike.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's a deleted scene with the Joker that explains why he got into the...
Yeah.
That's
what I was going to say earlier, but you beat me to it, but whatever.
I'm sorry. And so...
Yeah, Matt Reeves confirmed it already, and it's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's kind of, he already said it's going to come out here in a couple of weeks.
Maybe that's what the countdown is.
Maybe. I hope so. That could be the countdown.
So they're going to do the Joker, and they may even do a Joker Riddler team up in a movie.
Yeah.
Which they have in the comics, which was a war, or a war of jokes and riddles or something like that. Batman
now, how I feel about this reveal, I wasn't. The first time I watched it, I was all against it.
I'm still against it.
I hated it. And the more I watched it, though, it kind of grew on me. But that's probably my least.
Basically, what they did is the same as the end of Batman Begins, when Gordon hands Batman the Joker card.
Right.
And they tease the next thing. I'm like, please don't do the Joker next.
I hope he's not next, and I hope he's like a third movie type.
I think maybe if he came back to it, but even then, I would rather see. I'll tell you. We'll talk about it here in a minute, because so they revealed the Joker. Maybe, possibly, the Joker and Riddler are going to team up, and then we get Bruce Wayne talking about how there's going to be a power grab, and it cuts
to the Penguin.
It shows the Penguin looking over like a flooded Gotham City. He's like, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So I really think that's leading into
the Penguin show.
The Penguin show.
And then potentially the GCPD, because there's a lot of reform going on now within the GCPD now that Falcone's out of the picture.
And we're probably going to see maybe even Gordon become commissioner.
Commissioner in the show.
Because there's a power.
That'd be cool. So by the time... I'm saying we get 2 HBO Max shows before we get the sequel.
I think so too.
We get the Penguin show and the GCPD, and then we get the sequel.
The sequel I don't think is until at least 2024, 2025.
What are we, 22 right now?
Yeah.
26 maybe.
Even? 4 years?
3 to 4 years, I'd say.
Yeah, 3.
What was it, 2006 for the Batman, or Batman Begins, and then 2008
was The Dark Knight.
So
2005 was Batman Begins. 2005 to 2008, but then it was 2008 to 2012 for Dark Knight Rises. So...
8,
we'll
9,
see.
10, 11, 12, 4 years.
They pump out Spider-Man movies pretty quickly though. When you got money makers and they're making
as of right now, this movie's a success.
Yeah,
it's coming out swinging.
Yeah,
it's been good. So hopefully they get that into gear and they start knocking those shows out. But I'm still saying we get the 2 shows before we get the sequel.
Yeah,
and Matt Reeves has come out and confirmed an Arkham Asylum show too.
I agree. Well, and actually, I was listening to this guy, The Weekly Planet, Mr. Sunday Movies. He was talking. He's like, I actually can't find a difference between the Gotham and the Arkham whenever they talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they may be the same show.
Gotham and the Arkham.
The Gotham...
The GCPD
the
show?
GCPD show and Arkham.
Yeah, those could be. I can see those being
together.
Where they get somebody and they take them to Arkham, you know?
Yeah, so they were talking about maybe an Arkham element of the GCPD. Like, he's like, everything I've looked at, he's like, there's nothing that confirms just an Arkham show. He's like, everything it sounds like it's the GCPD show, but you get Arkham stuff in it, so.
Here's a problem. You have Matt Reeves writing this awesome new world for Batman. But then he's also working on the new animated series, Batman.
Oh, yeah.
So he's fucking in-depth, full-fledged Batman right now. And so I don't know how that's going to, like, you know, conflict with scheduling and doing, you know. I think he might just be a producer
on that James
show.
Gunn. James Gunn did Suicide Squad.
J.J. Abrams is doing the animated show as well. I think Matt Reeves is just a producer. He might not be like a writer or something. Because I know Bruce Timm's coming back for that, which he was the creator of the original.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This movie is great.
It was. And then we end with basically Batman and Selena Kyle saying goodbye.
Saying goodbye to each other.
She's leaving.
She's going to Bloodhaven.
Which I could even see a spin-off Catwoman show.
I can see that too.
Where she's out doing her own thing. Allegedly, there's a Catwoman series that's based off of The Long Halloween where she goes to Rome.
Yeah,
and does
it's
her
called
own thing.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know. I know it's a comic, and I haven't bought it yet. I need to get it.
Allegedly, it's like really good.
Yeah, so. And it just talks about. I mean, it just leads. It takes place during the same time.
It's cool to see like a Catwoman outside of like a Gotham, and then you can still do Catwoman. You can still do her vigilante stuff.
It talks more about her relationship with Falcone.
So you could do that with the TV show.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
And that's the end of the movie.
That's our thoughts and review about the.
But let's talk future villains. Who do you want to see?
Let's
see. It's going to be a trilogy. Let's do 2.
Okay, let's
3.
Let's say. Well, they did Falcone, Riddler. Catwoman's an anti-hero, so I'm not really going to count her.
They managed 3 villains in this very well because they did Penguin's origin story.
Yeah,
which we're going to get. I don't think he's going to come back for a movie. Yeah. I think that the Gotham, like his own spin-off series, and the Gotham people are going to take him down.
You think so?
I think so. I don't think he's going to get his own movie.
He could be a sub.
He could be a subplot in a movie.
Sub-villain. Like he's already. Because it would suck not to see the Penguin against the Batman. You know, to see Oz against Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't know. He could. I feel like he could be, but I could see where they could also take him down in the. Also, I wonder if we're going to see Batman in any of those shows, even for an episode or a glimpse.
I don't know.
Because it's hard to do something when you have criminals doing shady shit and they're mentioning the Batman and Batman's not around.
Yeah, he's not there.
At least to have him come in for like a scene or something.
Yeah,
I'm not saying be the whole episode or the whole season.
All right, the Batman 2.
I want to see. I hope they don't do Joker. I hope they don't. He's in prison right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Mr. Freeze. Matt Reeves has talked about how he wants to do Mr. Freeze, and I think Mr. Freeze is such a compelling character.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see Langstrom, Dr. Langstrom,
as Man-Bat.
Which
Matt Reeves came out and said he didn't want to put Man-Bat in a movie because he said he didn't want otherworldly things.
Yeah.
Which may not be a direct quote or anything, and
he also said Joker's not in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
He also said Joker's not in the movie.
I could see, a Mr. Freeze, Man-Bat. I think Mr. Freeze would be my pick for the next one as well.
Mr. Freeze, a Scarecrow.
Scarecrow I would stay away from. We got Scarecrow with...
That reminded me of what I was going to say earlier about all... Scarecrow's the only character in the Nolan franchise that was in all 3 movies.
Yeah, he was.
And that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
Yeah. There's literally no reason.
Can suck my dick.
Oh, I like Cillian Murphy.
No, that was Cillian Murphy. See, I don't even respect him enough to know his actual name.
I like him.
I don't like him. I mean, I thought he played a good Scarecrow, but the fact that he was in all 3 fucking movies and
I think
could have given us a better sub villain. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it's just a Nolan thing. Him and the Nolan relationship.
Yeah. Well,
I'd like to see a Scarecrow, and I'd like to see it fucking scary.
Yeah.
I want to see something scary.
I think they could do better with the like CGI effects and stuff, but I thought that was a decent interpretation of Scarecrow.
some like really off like the ventriloquist. That would be kind of cool, but it's a little goofy.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get like a Mad Hatter. It's basically you're doing the Joker.
No,
or you're
Joker
doing kind
Riddler
of you're doing
combined.
Almost like a Joker Scarecrow combined, because he always puts him in.
Well, he's always riddling off shit too, though.
And he drugs him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mad Hatter's a thing. The ventriloquist is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, he's just too goofy though.
I
could see something like walking with
the
a fucking
puppet. The guy walking around with the puppet running.
Ooh, a firefly.
A firefly would be cool. I don't know if that's grounded. So Matt Reeves basically came out. He's like, I want grounded characters in this.
How's Sub-Zero? How's Mr. Freeze grounded?
See, so he came out and he was like, I'm gonna try to find a grounded version. I think there's a grounded version
for any of these characters.
Yeah,
except for like Clayface and Killer Croc. But that'd be kind of cool to see Killer Croc.
It would be kind of cool to see Clayface too.
Clayface would be cool. Now that one's
Clayface.
That one's the most far fetched.
Clayface.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is pretty far fetched.
I'm saying Firefly, man. I think Firefly would be cool.
Firefly.
There's a guy named Prometheus, which he's like basically like Batman, but he's like a cop. I think he's a retired cop, or no, he's a mobster, and the cops killed his family, which were mobsters, and he became basically like Batman, but he just kills cops and does criminal activity. He's like a muscle type character. Prometheus. I don't know. I really like Firefly. I'm really digging that one.
I want to see,
because that one's the most grounded. It's just like a burn. I don't even know his actual alias, like his name.
Yeah. But
he's just like a burn. He flies around in a jetpack car, causes arsonist crimes, and I don't know. Maybe they can write as a good story for it. I'm not a writer, but I feel like he's a pretty grounded villain.
There's Professor Pig.
Oh, Professor Pig. That's just another serial killer.
Yeah, it's just a serial killer. Who's another one? Well, I think the Court of Owls would be a great one for this universe. But I feel like a Court of Owls shouldn't be the next. I feel like for me, a perfect one would be Mr. Freeze, and maybe like some sort of like a subplot, like a killer, like Batman shows up and Killer Croc is like swimming around in Gotham City, like they haven't drained it yet or whatever.
Maybe they're experimenting on him.
Yeah, or something's going on, but that it may be a little less grounded for this universe.
No,
but that would add to like a horror element. Like they can make Killer Croc really scary.
We still have the Maronis too.
Yeah, we still have the Maronis. So I think like a minor,
or not the Maronis, the Falcone's kids, like Falcone's
kids,
like his daughter, his sons.
Well, and they could like let Maroni go for like wrongful imprisonment whenever like all the shit comes out about the cops, basically. Running like the
I mean,
drugs.
They still caught him on crimes though, but
they caught him on crimes that got like, they could even say got planted. Basically, whenever the DA that did it and all that shit comes out, like I feel like they would release him. So I think they should have like some sort of sub criminal in there, some like maybe a lower class, a C tier criminal that Batman can come up against.
Could we see the head of the demon?
The head of the demon.
Ra's al Ghul.
See, I don't think they'll do Ra's al Ghul either.
Not in this universe, because it didn't really mention anything about him growing up. Really, Ra's al Ghul was... Well, if you think about it, he's not really Bruce Wayne. I mean, he was Bruce Wayne's mentor in the Nolanverse.
Yeah. But I think you could see the, like... what is it, League of Shadows or whatever, within this universe. Like, they're definitely, like, a grounded... Like ninjas that come out, imagine them in that Gotham environment. Like that would look
that dark.
It would look amazing.
Yeah,
I think Talia al Ghul would be cool to see. Like,
I mean, the Joker in this universe, Matt Reeves has already said that he was born with this. It's like a disease where he can't stop smiling and laughing. It's not he fell in a chemical vat. It's not like he got injected with all this shit like on White Knight, where they're basically making him crazy.
Like the pills, yeah. Yeah,
and he was born like this, and he's just been living his whole life like this.
Yeah.
So he's already came out and said that. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to think of.
I think if they put like
fantastical villains into a grounded world.
I think if they put Raj and they put like Talia, that would give Batman fucking love.
A love interest.
Yeah. Love interest. Now that Catwoman's gone.
Yeah.
They could lean into that.
Could
but I still
Madison
think,
Ivy.
I think they could have Poison Ivy. Honestly, a Mr. Freeze Poison Ivy one would be cool. Next movie, and then a Court of Owls to wrap it up. But they're going to do. Hopefully, they save it for the third. But they're going to do Joker Riddler team up, and I think as well. Like I feel like everybody loved this version of the Riddler. I think this like movie's going to get great review. It already has great reviews, but it's going to get like talked about a lot, and I think they're going to bring back the Riddler. Basically, I don't think they're just going to leave. Because Paul Dano did a great job.
He's got unfinished business.
There's shit going on that he needs to take care of. So, I don't know. I think like a Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy.
We could all agree we want Mr. Freeze. We want a grounded Mr. Freeze.
We want Mr. Freeze. Give us Mr. Freeze or we riot.
Give
me Mr. Freeze or I send it back.
Good and a bad guy though. That's why he's so compelling. Like he works with Batman sometimes, but
they could even do like the White Knight, where his dad was like a Nazi.
Oh yeah,
he has some stuff, technology. Yeah, and he fucking blasts. He blasts. The whole
he fucking
city.
ages like in 30 seconds. He ages like 40 years or something because of and see that wouldn't be grounded though.
I know,
so that's tough.
But that would be a cool thing. I mean, if they did some adaptation of it.
Right.
But Mr. Freeze, give us Mr. Freeze or we send it back, Matt Reeves.
Send Mr. Freeze or I send it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should end it there.
We're getting late. We got more to talk about. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Watch the whole thing. We'll see you on the next one.
Later, guys.